Of Derbyshire against Lancashire in the Metro Bank one-day cup competition. Derbyshire have won the toss, and as they have done in each of the previous two matches in this tournament so far, they have decided to have a ball first. It will be Zach Chappell from the City End fairly shortly. I'm delighted to say, and for once I mean it, Scott Reed from BBC Radio Lancashire is alongside. Scott, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you,
Good.
Dave. How are you?
Yeah, terrific.
Good,
Absolutely terrific.
This is a bit different from the last time I was here.
It was soggy, wasn't it?
It was a bit wet.
It was horrible. We were just waiting for the abandonment for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then it came.
The inevitable came.
And that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm all good.
So this Lancashire side, there are names there that I recognise, there are names there that I've heard of, and there are names that I don't recognise. I don't know if you can enlighten us.
Well, that kind of sums up the one-day cup, doesn't it? Really?
Yes.
For most sides, I reckon. Some familiar names and some unfamiliar ones.
Here is Zach Chappell from the City End in Bowls. Blimey, I've just got Q. Ball is pushed by George Bell out into the offside, and there's no run.
So Lancashire handing a debut to Venkatesh Iyer, who's one of their two overseas players in this side, the other being Chris Green, the Australian. So George Bell and Harry Singh, Josh Bohannon, George Balderson, Venkatesh Iyer, Rocky Flintoff, Chris Green, Tom Aspinwall, Jack Blatherwick, Tom Bailey, and Charlie Barnard.
I suppose if Rocky's playing, we could have some very interested and famous listeners and viewers today. As that one is left alone by Bell outside the off stump to go through to. But Derbyshire made just one change to the side that won the game at the weekend against Middlesex. And Pat Brown is back from 100 duty, where he was picked up by the Northern Superchargers and not played. So he's been released back into the wild, and he replaces Darren Dupavilon, who's rested for this game. He played in the last game and bowled really, really well, picked up 3 wickets. As Chappell comes in again, and that one is driven gloriously for 4 out to the extra cover boundary. That was a really nice shot to get your innings underway from George Bell. Beautifully played, slightly overpitched from Zach Chappell, sadly, and away it went. So Lancashire up and running, 4 without loss in the first over. Lancashire in slightly unfamiliar dark, I think it's dark blue. I don't think it's black. It might be black. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check. Derbyshire in their pale blue tops and dark blue trousers. They've got 2 slips in place, David Lloyd and Lewis Rees. As Chappell is in, and that one is pushed out into the offside and fielded there by Yusuf bin Naeem, who has kept his place in the side quite correctly, didn't do anything wrong, took a nice catch against Middlesex, of course not required to bat in the 9-wicket victory, as you might expect. Harry Moore playing as well. He's played in the under-19s series against Sri Lanka, along with Rocky Flintoff and Charlie Barnard, I believe, as this next one is back of a length and just guided beautifully to backward point boundary by Bell for 4 more. Wow. It looks like he's in some kind of form, which is good. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. Throughout the day, both myself and Scott Reed will be doing updates, and those updates coincide. So on the stream you might hear mine, well you will, is Chappell in and bowls. That one is pushed out into the offside, and on this occasion there's no run. So the first over is done and dusted, and Lancashire are 8 without loss. Who are we going to see? We're going to see Sam Connors from the racecourse end. He's just marking. Well, it's going to say he's marking out his run-up. He's not really, because he's already measured it with a tape measure. He's just putting a few extra scratches down. Samit Patel, the Derbyshire skipper. I'll go through the full Derbyshire side in a moment. I've just got the update coming up. Yes, Vicky, Derbyshire won the toss here. They decided to have a bowl first, as they have done in their 2 previous matches, both of which they won. And Lancashire have got off to a decent start. They're 8 without loss, all 8 runs coming to George Bell, who's hit a couple of boundaries. Pat Brown back in the Derbyshire side in place of Darren Dupavalon. That's the only change. 1 over gone, and Lancashire at 8 for none. And the first ball from Sam Connors is signalled wide. So an extra run goes on to the Lancashire total there, 9 without loss. I was introduced as Dave rather than Dave Fletcher, which is interesting. Not entirely sure why that would be the case, but there we go. You can be too formal, of course. Here comes Connors again and bowls. That one's wide as well, but this time not signalled wide by our umpires, who I haven't given you yet because I don't know who they are. So I'll have a quick look and then I will pass on that information to you. 9 without loss are the visitors. And now I can tell you that our umpires are Peter Hartley and Naeem Ashraf. That's umpire Ashraf at the racecourse end as Singh goes up on his toes and pushes this one out into the offside, and there is no run. Harry Kane doing the fielding on this occasion. 9 without loss, so I better write that down because I'll forget. Peter Hartley and Naeem Ashraf. So a Yorkshireman and an umpire who spent a lot of his time playing in the Lancashire leagues and in the Northwest, Naeem Ashraf. He was umpire at a recent game, and I had to look him up and was thoroughly embarrassed as Connors is in bowls and Singh pushes that back down the pitch just to the onside of the stumps at the non-strikers end, and there's no run. It turned out that back in the day he'd had a season at Blackrod Cricket Club, which is my cricket club. Although he was there before my lad started playing there, so I call it mine. It's Charlie's really. But yeah, he'd had a season there and I knew nothing about him. Hideously embarrassing. Helen Pack is our match referee, just for completeness, as Connors goes in again, bowling to Singh, who's beaten by that one. It's hit him on the pad and he's been given out. Well, I thought it had gone the other side of his bat, but clearly not. And Sam Connors strikes in the second over. Singh goes for a 4-ball duck, and Lancashire are 9 for 1. Connors strikes early. I thought he'd been beaten outside. Beat him on the inside?
It has, yeah.
Yeah. Shows you what my eyes aren't great.
Well, we're not kind of directly owing behind from this angle.
We're not ideally placed for LBW, certainly.
No. But yeah, a good early breakthrough for Derbyshire. Harry Singh did play in the first match of this competition for Lancashire this season. He debuted in the game at Seb School against Durham, and then didn't feature in the following match against Kent, coming back into the side today because Lancashire coming into this fixture without Keaton Jennings for the rest of the competition now, the Lancashire captain, who would have opened the batting. So Singh being given a chance to open the batting, but unable to contribute. He made 25 in that game against Durham, but batted in the middle order for Lancashire. But he's an opening batter. But yeah, gone LBW.
The first match in List A cricket in which both skippers have been taken by another competition within 4 days of each other, I'm going. If any statisticians out there can prove otherwise, I'd be happy to... Keaton Jennings was skipper in the side.
He absolutely was.
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah, so Derbyshire lost Ross Whiteley after 1 game to somewhere or other.
It's actually hard to follow it.
Yes, it is.
The player kind of movement is quite...
Well, 2 players. Chris Green was one of them. I think he had a 1-match contract, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Mohammed Amir left Derbyshire at the end of the T20, had a 1-match contract in the 100, and now he's playing in Canada. Here's Sam Connors bowling to Josh Bohannon, the Lancashire skipper, in place of Keaton Jennings, and he leaves the first ball alone to go through to Brooke Guest. Josh Bohannon, one of my favourite Lancashire players, good old Boltonian.
He's a Bolter boy.
Good old Boltonian.
Yeah, chance to captain the team. He's Lancashire's vice captain. He's the club's vice captain, has been all season with Jennings as skipper. but obviously the kind of natural one to step up with Keaton being spirited away.
Very good. Where's he gone?
London Spirit.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it needed an explanation.
He probably did, to be fair.
This Connors again, balls to Bahanan. That was a sharp delivery. It's pushed into the leg side by Bahanan, and barring the wide, that would have been an exceptional over from Sam Connors, but he's got 1 for 1 off 1 over. 9 for 1 Lancashire after 2, with Bahanan yet to get off the mark, and Bell on 8.
Super start, yeah. I mean, that first ball wide down the leg side, but then he's backed that up with some really good deliveries. He's made Bahanan play it everyone so far. It's a good start by Derbyshire. We've also had a good start to the competition, haven't they? I mean, 2 wins from 2. In contrast, Lancashire have lost both of their games. And
2 contrasting wins as well. One from 79 for 7. They managed to beat Northamptonshire.
Wow. And
in the last match, they beat Middlesex by 9 wickets.
Great effort. Bell gets forward and dry. He's back down the pitch. And Zach Chappell fields off his own bowling, albeit the ball probably more accurately hits him off his own bowling. And
then it bounced into the stumps as well. The leg bail was knocked off. Zach Chappell ended up wringing his hand out. He's still flexing his fingers. Now it's his right hand as well, which is always a concern. The kit, the Lancashire kit, perfectly fine. Is it black or is it very, very dark blue?
It's blue. Yeah, it's dark blue.
Is it? Yeah. I said that before and then had second thoughts.
No, it is. It's pretty dark blue. Chappell in bowls again to Bell, clipped away towards the square leg boundary, and Bell jogs back for 2. And the score moves on to 11 for 1. There's lots of blues around in the one-day cup.
Too many, really.
There isn't there?
I think so. Yeah. It's always a bit disappointing when you get so many sides. I'd imagine when Worcester should come here on whenever it is Friday. They've got blue kit.
I think they're in blue. Yeah, I think they're in blue. Yeah. Durham, they're in blue. Yeah.
I think Northamptonshire was blue.
Oh my goodness, blue's the colour. Chappell to Bell, who defends to mid-off, and there's no run.
As somebody once said.
Yes, quite. Someone in West London once said it.
Yes.
11 for 1 in the third over. So yeah, this team for Lancashire, you mentioned some names that maybe, and it's a bit familiar, a bit similar for me for when I look down that Derbyshire line. There's most players there I've seen before, but there's a couple I haven't. But yeah, there'll be some names on there that might be a little bit unfamiliar. There's Chappell is in and balls to Bell, that's defended, and there's no run. We've just seen Harry Singh. Unfortunately for him, his day with the bat's done. But I suspect he'll bowl later, bowl some off spin.
Oh, okay.
Again, one of the players that has represented England at various different levels and been part of England under 19s recently. And clearly has impressed. Rocky Flintoff kind of speaks for himself a bit, even though he's only 16.
I know, it's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And Charlie Barnard, left-arm spinner, who again has been part of England's under 19s. Chappell bowls to Bell. It's chopped away into the onside, no run. And then Venkatesh Iyer is the overseas signing alongside Chris Green. So we've got Venkatesh, who's played a lot of IPL cricket. He's got a good record. And Chris Green, obviously, he's again another player who plays cricket pretty much here, there and everywhere, doesn't he?
Didn't have his green boots on when he played in the 100, I noticed, which was disappointing. He's very easy to spot usually, isn't he, with his green boots?
Maybe he clashed too much with the yellow of the Trent Rockets. Chappell comes in and bowls to Bell. Oh, that takes a leading edge and loops up towards mid-on. Oh, it's fielded by Sami Patel, and there's no run. That's the end of the over. Good probing stuff again by Chappell. Just a couple of runs coming off it. 3 overs gone of the Lancashire innings, and Lancashire 11 for 1.
Yeah, Derbyshire with 2 17-year-olds. Yusuf bin Naim, only just 17, having made his debut against Middlesex at the weekend. Didn't bat, took a catch, but of course in a 9-wicket win there wasn't much scope for batting down the order. And Harry Moore had picked up a couple of wickets to improve his career best figures in his 5th game of List A cricket. He's 17 as well, he's fielding at mid-on at the moment. He's a very tall young man. Sam Connors is into bowl to Josh Bohannon, who gets a full delivery and pushes it up to Harry Moore, who fields at the second attempt. And there is no run. Yusuf's really looked a really useful fielder when he was patrolling at pretty much where he is now. He's at mid-wicket, and he spent a lot of time on the mid-wicket boundary where he took his catch as well. Quick over the ground. Derbyshire starting to get one or two players back. Pat Brown returning from the Northern Superchargers, having not played for them.
Right.
Ross Whiteley hasn't played yet either. Connors in and bowls and beats Bohannon. And that goes through to Guest. Nice delivery. Started well here, Connors.
That is a better thing this year. I mean, I appreciate both Derbyshire and Lancashire have lost two very important players to the 100 in the last...
Happened last year as well to Derbyshire. They got Matson back for a List A game because he wasn't playing at Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a bit better. I mean,
so.
Aspinwall's playing today because, again, he's not playing for the originals.
I think it makes sense. Well, if you're not playing cricket, then all of a sudden you're required and you haven't played any cricket because there's certainly no Manchester original seconds, is there? As Connors is running balls, that one's turned down to...
Not yet.
No, it's only a matter of time. Long leg for a single. And Bohannon is off the mark, 12 for 1. But yeah, I mean, he could not play for 2.5 weeks and then suddenly be called on. And if he hasn't played any cricket, it's very difficult. Very difficult. I think, anyway.
No,
it would be difficult for me, full stop. But yeah, so Pat Brown's the only change to the side. So Derbyshire going without an overseas today. Darren Dupavillon's the only overseas they have left. Obviously, Mohammed Amir is in Canada. Blair Tickner back in New Zealand. As Connors is in again, bowls to Bell, who plays it into the ground, and Connors fields in his follow through with his right hand, his sleeved right arm.
Yes.
Which makes him easy to spot.
Yeah.
Get all the little foibles, Sam it with the 2 elbow protectors. Harry Moore, 12 foot tall.
He's a big lad, isn't he? I saw him down on the boundary before, yeah.
It's reasonably easy to spot. Pat Brown there, backward point, also wearing the sleeve on his right arm. As Connors is in again, and this one is driven, that's 4 for Bell, straight back down the ground. When I say straight, I mean very straight. It wasn't too far away from the leg stump at the non-striker's end, but Bell's now got 3 boundaries and moves on to 14 at a run of ball, 16 for 1 Lancashire, so he's got off to a bit of a flyer. Who else have we got out there down at third? Who on earth will that be? Could be absolutely anybody from this distance. I'm guessing with Zach Chappell at long leg that third man is Matt Lamb. It's walking a bit like Matt Lamb. In goes Connors and bowls and beats Bell, who just does that little thing with his hand to suggest that it moved as it goes past the bat. That's the best thing to do if the ball goes past the bat. Tell everybody that the ball's moved and it wasn't your fault that you missed it, and the over comes to an end. 1 for 6 from his 2 overs now. Sam Connors, Lancashire 16 for 1 after 4. Yes, it was Matt Lamb down there in the far distance. A lot of long-sleeved cricketers out there today. I say a lot. Harry Kame, Yusuf bin Naim, the wicketkeeper, obviously, because that would be Village if he didn't have long sleeves. Matt Lamb's got long sleeves as well.
On one of the hotter days today,
yes.
by all accounts.
It feels quite warm.
Oh, I've gone for the shorts, which is unlike me.
I've been in shorts for weeks.
Love that about you.
Yeah. Most people don't say that. Trouble is, it's only indoors usually, so my legs are still as white as they were in April.
Chappell sets off and bowls, and Bohannon turns it out towards mid-wicket. And there's no run fielded by Matt Lamb.
Not a shorts wearer.
Well,
down as a shorts wearer.
I don't mind a pair of wearing a pair of shorts, but I don't know. I've not gone for it too many times this season.
Well, no, there hasn't been the opportunity really as of this season.
No. And they're, more often than not, they're always kind of cut into the commentary positions in the studio on the camera. No one wants to see my legs and all that stuff today. You know what I mean? You don't. It's going to put people off. Chappell with 2 slips in play, sets off and bowls again to Bohannon. It's played a little uppishly, but safe enough, out towards deep backward point. Bohannon gets through for a single, and he moves on to 17 for 1.
Pat Brown is very close to the bat. He's a lot closer to the bat than you would than he was certainly in the T20 when he was always one of the boundary riders. He and Ross Whiteley have got terrific arms, but he's in a cover on the edge of the circle, which is as close as I've seen him, really. He's a good fielder.
Chappell In from the City end balls to Bell. It's driven for 4. A lovely shot. Punched away to the left of Harry Kane, who's at mid-off. And out towards the boundary. 4 more to Bell. He moves on to 18. Positive start by George Bell. Lancashire 21 for 1.
So Chapel went wicketless, I think I'm right in saying, on Saturday. Might even have conceded 50 runs off his 10 overs. So not for 50. It's not the kind of figures that you want. But bowled better than that. I wouldn't say necessarily that he's bowled as well as he bowled on Saturday so far in this match. Not necessarily the views of the BBC.
Chapel to Bell is defended to mid-on, no run. The second slip's been removed and placed at mid-wicket. There's no run.
Connors, on the other hand, has bowled as well as he bowled on Saturday. Dupavelin, I thought, was excellent. Has been nursing an ankle problem, so played the one game, and there's so many games coming up in a very short space of time now. Derbyshire play Friday, and then Sunday, and then the following Wednesday.
Chapel over the wicket bowls. Bell defends just to the left where Lewis Rees is at mid-wicket and picked up by Sami Patel. No run.
You've got quite a road trip as well yourself.
Yeah, yeah. It will kind of it's similar to yours, isn't it? Really, but obviously yours is next week, and
we're following you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're to Taunton, and then the bowl.
Yes, we're at the bowl.
We're at both, but just a couple of days after you. Just soften them up for us.
Chapel to Bell, plays forward and he defends to complete the over. And we've had 5, Lancashire 21 for 1, Bell on 18, Bohannon on 2. So yeah, there's only a day in between each match, so there's not really much point in going home. So yeah, it's from here it's to Somerset for the match on Friday, and then from Somerset to Southampton for the game on Sunday.
Yes, we've got Sunday and Wednesday, which is a 2-day gap, just makes it slightly awkward for. So I'm going to come back from Somerset and then go down to Hampshire on the Tuesday, I think.
Which I think is what the players are doing, aren't they? I'm sure I heard that.
Yes,
they're going to come back after.
Yes, they're not staying down. I think with one day between, they probably would have done.
Yeah.
Sam Connors' third over, first ball, defended by Josh Bohannon, back to him, and there's no run. Mentioned that interview that we did with Ryan Duckett. One of the things I asked was, and you only play 4 home games in this competition throughout whatever it is, 3 weeks or whatever. 3 of them have come in 7 days, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me in the current climate where people are careful with their money because they have to be. To ask them to dip into their pockets 3 times in a week. That one is a terrific delivery from Connors. Goes past the edge of Bohannon's bat and through to Brooke Guest. So if it had been more home and away, it might have made more sense. I know it's, I don't know, the computer, I don't believe for a minute there's a computer that sorts out the fixtures, by the way. In any sport, I think there's somebody with a large spreadsheet somewhere going, oh, I tell you what, this will make them laugh. We'll send them to Taunton one day, and 2 days later we'll make them go to Southampton. Connors in, Bohannon is beaten again. Might just have played inside the line of that one, in fairness to him. As I say, and Scott's very kindly pointed out, we're not directly behind the pitch, which is the same pitch on which they played against Middlesex on Saturday. And you can tell by the sight screen at the far end of the ground at the City end in front of the, well, it's not in front of the permanent temporary stand, it's to the left as we look. They've drafted in an extra sight screen. That's how far towards the players' pavilion we are. I don't recall Derbyshire playing this far to the left as we look for a long time, as Connors bowls, played nicely off the back foot by Bohannon out towards the point boundary, backward point really, and he gets 4 runs for it. Just guided it away. Pat Brown, no chance. He just jogs and collects the ball. And Lancashire moved to 25 for 1 with 2 balls left of the 6th over. So we are a long way, but these pitches, the pitches on the extremities of the square appear to have more life in them than the ones in the middle, which I suppose makes sense. The ones in the middle have been used more. And these are more practice pitch area. The players seem to like them. This next one's a good Yorker, and it's well dug out by Bohannon. Pushes it straight back.
Yeah, good comeback that, wasn't it? It was just a little bit short and wide the last delivery, which Bohannon played nicely away for 4, but fired the Yorker into Sam Connors.
He had a bit of a rest during the T20 because he was named in a couple of squads, but he never felt he was going to play. Doesn't play T20 cricket, Sam, at the moment.
Okay.
I'm sure he would tell everybody he'd love to play it. He's in a bowls too, Bohannon. He pushes this one out into the leg side. Moore races to the ball, but it's a long way down and he doesn't pick it up cleanly. And Josh Bohannon picks up a single off the final ball of the over. He moves on to 7. Bell's got 18 and it's 26 for 1 after 6 overs. Lancashire. 1 or 2 of these didn't play much in the T20. Harry Kane didn't play in the T20. Matt Lamb didn't play in the T20. Obviously Bin Naeem and Moore didn't play either. So this idea that there's too much cricket, there is possibly a lot of cricket for a select band of players, but not everybody plays every format, do they?
No. Well, you've certainly seen a lot of players being given a chance to get first-team experience in these next few weeks, which is great.
Absolutely.
Chappell sets off again. Balls to Bohannon. Has he edged that through to the keeper? He has, yeah. And Bohannon departs for 7, and Chappell gets his first wicket of the afternoon. Lancashire 26 for 2 at the start of the 7th over. And Bohannon having to depart. Got a good ball there from Chappell. Oh, that's gone past the inside edge of the bat.
We have no way of knowing, but it felt like the quickest delivery that Zach Chappell's bowled this morning to me, and he's put it in the right area, as they say, unfortunately. And I didn't realise it had gone past the inside edge, but that is a big wicket for Derbyshire. You feel
He's bowled him, hasn't it? It's bowled him.
Has it?
Yeah, it's gone past the inside edge, just clipped the top of his off stump.
And we are going to see a replay on the big screen now in slow motion. And oh yeah, no, it has bowled him. So I'll just cross that bit out, having already written it. Brooke Guest actually took the catches to dismiss the first 3 against Middlesex, so it's not a major surprise, especially if it's as straightforward as that for the wicket keeper.
It's a good ball, hasn't it? It's come back in.
Yeah, no, he'd be pleased with that, having gone wicketless on Saturday. Having said that, I mean, what he did down at Northampton was astonishing. He picked up 4 wickets, then went out when the score was 79 for 7. So he got career best bowling figures and scored 96 not out, I think it was, a 94 not out, and saw Derbyshire home from 97 for 7 when they were chasing 230 or 240. It was absolutely remarkable. I had written them off.
As you would, yeah. Chappell to Flintoff. And that's nudged away.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
He is a bit. And towards square leg for a single.
He's just gone down to the non-striker's end and stood next to Zach Chappell, who I regard as a large human being. And he's dwarfed him.
He's a big lad,
He is huge. He's got to look at the way he's leaning on his bat. I mean, that could be, couldn't it?
The similarities are
That could,
ridiculous,
could
really.
be
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's Chappell to Bell. That's off the front foot and defends, and there's no run. He batted at 6 on his debut on Sunday in Blackpool against Kent. So he's got himself a little promotion here. Obviously, Lancashire having to rejig things because of the call up by Keaton Jennings. That's altered things, but it was Bell, Jennings, Bohannon, Balderson, Lavelle, and then Flintoff on Sunday.
No Lavelle today.
No. Chappell back in to Bell, and that's pushed away off the front foot to mid-off, and there's no run. So 27 for 2. We're in the 7th over. Lancashire losing Harry Singh and Josh Bohannon. Derbyshire with a couple of early breakthroughs here. A short mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off, cover, deep point, short third man, slip as well. Bell just bends his knees at the crease and waits for Chappell to come in and bowls, and then through it goes to Brooke Guest.
It's that kind of bounce that we got on Saturday. We just haven't had that at Derby. Certainly in red ball cricket. You don't really want that in T20 cricket necessarily, but I don't mind it in the 50-over game. You have a fair amount of time to build an innings.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties about this format, isn't it? That you can. I mean, that example you gave from the other day with Derbyshire, who have been in a losing position and gone to win it. Chappell to Bell. Oh, that's come back in, I suspect, and he's got him. Bell departs for 18, his LBW to Zach Chappell. And Lancashire have lost the third wicket, 27 for 3. That's the final ball of the 7th over. The delivery, just coming back in towards Bell, and the umpire reckons that's going on to hit. And Bell has to depart for 18, so 27 for 3 after 7 overs.
Yeah, and a really good over from Zach Chappell.
Yeah,
2 wickets in the over. One with the first ball, one with the last. And it is surprising what a bit of confidence can do to a team, isn't it? A couple of wins. If they'd have gone on to lose that game at Northamptonshire, you could just imagine them having a disastrous 50-over competition as well as T20 and bottom of the county championship, and all of a sudden you're thinking, what on earth is going on here? But all of a sudden they look like a side who was born to play 50-over cricket. See a replay of that one. Might have troubled the leg stump, certainly.
Kind of umpire's call,
yeah,
that type of thing.
Yes, possibly at best.
Yes.
Although it has hit the inside of the pad, sort of his inside thigh, looking at the replay from a different angle. Either way, we sort of have to accept these things, don't we? So it's Rocky Flintoff and Venkatesh Iyer out there together. He's got Venkatesh on the back of his shirt. Should we call him that?
Let's call him that. Call him Venky.
Number 77 on his back. We've only got the 177 playing today because Wayne Madson's away with the Manchester Originals, where he wears 7, interestingly. And it's Flintoff on strike for Sam Connors' 4th over. He leaves the first ball alone outside the off stump, but it goes through to wicketkeeper Brooke Guest, and there is no run. Number of games taking place today, of course. Well, I say of course, the last 2 days we've had one match. It's sort of randomly chucked in. Middlesex played Northamptonshire down at Radlett on Monday. Northants winning that one. I don't think they're not playing today. Well, I could be mistaken. No, they're not. They're not. Elsewhere in this group, which I was delighted to learn is Group A. I had no idea. Somerset chose to bat against Durham at Chester-le Street in a 37 for 1 after 7 overs, and at Beckenham, where Kent are playing today, Hampshire won the toss and decided to bat in a 23 for 2 in the 8th over. You must again, I think, because Venkatesh Iyer has got something wrong with his helmet. Hasn't faced a delivery yet. He's just walked out and there's something wrong with his helmet. Essex 33 for 1 after being put into bat by Leicestershire at Chelmsford. Oh dear, fancy having to go there. 7 overs gone there. Nottinghamshire are playing at Neath, but I've never been. I'd like to go there. Nottinghamshire are 19 for 2 after 7 overs after being put in by Glamorgan. The other game today is in York. Again, a place I've been to York, but I've never been to York Cricket Club. It looks really nice. Yorkshire are 53 for 1, having been put into bat by Sussex. Here's Sam Connors into bowl to Flintoff, who pushes this one out into the offside. Harry Kane does the fielding at extra cover.
As you could imagine,
Sorry,
Dave. As you could imagine, Lancashire played Yorkshire at York a couple of years ago in this competition, and it was packed.
Yeah.
It's a lovely ground. The weather was beautiful, and the place was sold out. It was a fantastic.
I've just seen that they've got a big temporary stand there, haven't they, that they put up, and I've seen photographs, but I've never been. Neath is beyond Swansea, so it's a fair old trek, but in goes Connors again. Flintoff drives for 4 runs. Beautiful shot, overpitched by Connors, and Flintoff gave it the treatment, picks up his first boundary and moves to 5. Lancashire 31 for 3 here in the 8th over.
Well, he's got a great chance, hasn't he? What an opportunity. You know, you talk about what this competition is like for younger players. Well, a lad at 16 here has got a chance to bat at 4 for Lancashire. and to put together a real contribution with the team in a difficult position.
With more than 40. Another chance to make a name for himself, as if he hasn't done already, as Connor's easy to bowl straight. But he flashes at that one outside the off stump. I don't think he really should have done that. It goes through to Brooke Guest. He had a he did a century against Sri Lanka, I think he might have done.
For England's under-19s, yeah, he's the youngest player to score a century for England's under-19s, and he's obviously had some big scores in the second team as well, hasn't he? He's got his professional contract.
No, he's an exciting prospect. That was a remarkable under-19 team. Michael Vaughan's son was opening the batting. Yeah. And I'm sure there was a Denley or somebody in there as well.
Denley,
so some familiar names as Connors bowls it short and pulled away for 4 runs by Flintoff. Don't bowl there, or the ball will be dispatched to the boundary, which it is. He's picked up boundaries in 2 of the last 3 deliveries, 35 for 3 now, and Flintoff's on to 9.
I mean, he made his debut on Sunday, and he got the biggest cheer of the match on Sunday, on the day on Sunday, was when the teams were named and his name was in it. They got a huge cheer. And then when he came out to bat, likewise, he got the biggest cheer of the lot. So, I mean, there's a lot going on Sunday, isn't there, on your debut when you're 16.
There's a lot of pressure on you.
There isn't this. So he's kind of got Sunday out of his way. He's away from home, maybe. There's not perhaps that kind of scrutiny as it was on Sunday. So let's hope he enjoys a good day here.
He waits for this next delivery from Connors, defends it straight back towards the Derbyshire bowler, who stops it with his left foot off the final ball of the over. 8 overs gone, 35 for 3. Lancashire, yeah, this might be the perfect venue for him to come and show us what he can do. He can clearly do plenty. You don't get an opportunity to play at this level unless you're pretty good. And he's been an exceptional age group player.
I said that to Dale Benkinstat. I mean, I appreciate, obviously, you can see what he's done and his progression as a young player, but still he's only 16. How much do you have to factor in that when you're giving someone a debut and putting someone in the first team when he's still only 16? He's like, well, he just said he didn't even think about the age particularly. Yeah. You know, he's there because he's good enough to play. Which football manager was it that said that age is not it doesn't matter how old you are. Yeah, good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chappell lent to Venkatesh, and that's squirted down towards the third man boundary. It's picked up and just a single to Venkatesh. Gets his first run for Lancashire, 36 for 3.
It's a day of milestones. Chalk that one off.
Yeah.
Chalk that one off.
Where were you on the day?
Yes.
Brings Flintoff
So
back.
how many overseas have they had now this season? Half a dozen?
There's been a few knocking about, yeah. Chappell bowls to Flintoff, and that's defended. There's no run. Tom Bruce has gone back
his
to
wife's
New
having
Zealand.
a baby, isn't she?
Yeah, so he's gone back.
Well, Tom Bruce played for, people who listen to me regularly will know this because I've mentioned it, played for Little Lever against Blackrod in the quarterfinals of the Northwest Cricket League T20. When he was out of form, we'll call it.
Yeah, he got dropped. Yeah,
well,
he did,
if you're happy to say that, I'll say it as well.
He got dropped. Chappell to Flintoff. That's run away through the offside for 2. Actually, jogs back for a couple. Flintoff moves to 11, 38 for 3.
But fair play to him. He went out to bat with his Lancashire helmet on.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he was, and then blocked the first 6 deliveries he faced.
Outstanding.
In a club T20. I think he made a half century. But Little Lever failed to win the game, which was great. They made 190 and didn't win a club game of T20. It was a remarkable evening.
Chappell to Flintoff. Defends, just pushing it into the offside. No run.
So that's you've got Green.
Yeah, so Bruce has gone.
Bruce, and now Aya.
Green
You
and
also
Aya.
Nathan Lyon, of course, didn't
And Nathan.
for the season. As I was told anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else.
That works out well, doesn't it? Oh, dearie me.
Cricket Australia are dreadful for doing that. Not for doing that specifically, but for either calling players back earlier or not letting them come after they've agreed deals and stuff. Like Derbyshire have had 2 or 3 who haven't come.
Chappell ball. Flintoff looks to pull. That's
hit him in the helmet.
Rock him on the helmet. Got a little deflection potentially off his shoulder onto his helmet. I don't know, but either way.
Zach Chappell immediately checked that he was okay there.
Yeah.
Which is good to see from the big fast bowler. You can be a big, ugly, fast bowler, but still care about hitting people on the head. And that's exactly what he did there. So there will be a brief delay while Rocky Flintoff is checked out. And one of the people who goes across to him, of course, is Harry Moore. They'll know each other well from that England under-19 game against Sri Lanka. So that's only 4, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Were there any more?
No, well, I forgot about Lyon. So no, there's only.
He's quite a good bowler, right?
Yeah, no, he's handy, isn't he? Yeah. So yeah, he was here for the first couple of
At
months.
Southport, you had Lyon bowling at one end and Anderson at the other, did you?
It was brilliant.
Yeah,
we
I think
did.
I watched a bit of that on the
we
stream.
did.
Yeah,
it was great. And we had. I spoke to Nathan Lyon about it afterwards, and Lyon was saying they had Jimmy saying "well bowled Gaz" and Lyon saying "well bowled Jimmy." And he said it didn't feel right.
I saw that interview. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of his interviews because he's really good value.
He
isn't
is. He's excellent.
When he was asked about an England something, he said, "Well, I don't really care." I'm sure I heard him say that. But, in all honesty, I'm not bothered what England do, which is how it should be. But then when your teammates, it's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was Notts, wasn't it, against Notts at Southport, with the railway track just behind there. I've never been to Southport Cricket Club. We came to Blackpool a few years ago, probably even 2016, to play a one-day game. And of course been to Aigburth, but not been to Southport.
Yeah, so Lyon was there for the first few months. And he was supposed to be there for the entire season, but then, as you say, that got curtailed. And so then they've signed Chris Green so he could play in the Blast. And he's played in the championship match because Green played in the game at Southport as well. They had Green and Lyon playing in that match. And then there's been another one, George Dockrell.
Of course, the Irishman.
Yeah, so Dockrell signed,
Yes.
and he played the final 2 Blast group matches, which means he would be available for them to play in their quarter final if Green is unavailable, which looks likely. So there's Dockrell, yeah. And Venkatesh Iyer is here for the One-Day Cup and 2 championship matches against Surrey and Hampshire. It's quite difficult to keep up with that.
No, you're absolutely right. Darren Dupavillon's here. I think I'm right. It's again like you. I'm not 100%. Well, you might be 100%. I don't think he plays in the last match in the championship. I think he's here until September. But he was a replacement for Mohammed Amir, who was supposed to be here at the start of the season, but then reversed his decision to retire from international cricket and therefore played in the World Cup and only played 5 T20 matches. Would have played 6 if it hadn't chucked it down when Lancashire were here. And then Blair Tickner, whose wife Sarah, not long after they arrived, discovered that she had leukemia. So they went back, quite understandably. I think that's everybody. Oh no, Cameron Fletcher. Cameron Fletcher, of course, the New Zealander who played a few games in the T20 Blast as well. So yeah, not quite a revolving door for the 2 clubs, but certainly it's a long way from Michael Holding playing every game of the season and coming back year after year. And
yeah, it's just never going to happen again, is it? That type of.
I'm afraid not. It's a real shame. Those days must have been great to watch cricket when you had. I mean, I grew up a long time ago, late 60s, early 70s, and you had year after year, Farouk Engineer and Clive Lloyd at Lancashire, and they were known as being Lancashire players as much as they were playing for the West Indies and for India. They were remarkable days, really. So, those days have gone.
And it's going to be such a tricky job, isn't it, to try and get an overseas that's a good quality, that's going to be here for a decent chunk of the season, that's going to compete in the different formats, that's going to offer something on the pitch and off the pitch and all the rest of it. I mean, it's to be able to get someone and to be able to rely on that person to stay for any length of time with so much kind of going on at the minute is almost impossible, probably.
Yes, I'm afraid. So it's taken quite a while to sort Flintoff's new helmet out, I think. They've just brought another one out of a nice yellow cloth bag. And because everybody's head is a different shape, they're having to put extra bits in the new helmet. Those little padded bits with Velcro on them to make sure that it fits Rocky Flintoff's head perfectly.
It's taken a bit of...
It's taken a while, though, hasn't it, this? I mean, you have to take every precaution, of course, and then the equipment has to be the right equipment when it's replaced, of course. I mean, there's no point in giving him a helmet and wobbling around.
I don't think this is an issue with regards to Rocky's health or anything like that. It's just trying to pick a helmet out from on here, I think. Trying to get one that's the right fit. And there's quite a few to pick from out there. There's 4 or 5 different selections to try and choose from. He's tried a couple, not quite liked them just yet. Having a bit of a drink as well, but there's nothing wrong with taking obviously a little extra time because as we've seen with Chappell, it's quick, isn't he? He bowled a pretty lively spell here. So they've just taken all the precautions, but making sure that they've got the right helmet. I think they've settled on the right one.
I think it's the little bits of padding that he's now wobbling. Look, he's just wobbled his head there. Excellent. I'd love to see somebody wobbling their head. He's giving it a right old shake. So there's clearly nothing wrong with him. Otherwise, that would have hurt. He's picked up his bat, and it's not just a physio. It's somebody with a bag of helmets by the look of it. With 12 man, he's got an enormous bag over his shoulder. Look at the size of that bag. I hope that's not full of helmets. Right, we've got a selection for you here, Rocky. Which one do you fancy?
Take your pick from about half a dozen. We've got one ball after the 9th over. Chappell bowled 4.5 overs, 2 for 19. And in to complete the over, balls to Flintoff, who drives to mid-off. And there is no run. So that is 9 overs gone in this one-day cup fixture. Derbyshire and Lancashire batting first, 38 for 3. Flintoff on 11, Iyer on 1. The dismissals of Lancashire's top 3, Bell, Singh and Bahanan all back in the pavilion. It's a good start for the home side. Lancashire with some rebuilding work to do here, but plenty of time left.
I'll say.
To rebuild and to go again.
So somebody just asked me, rather, I should have looked at the starter. We're going to see. I'm going to see Pat Brown. Excellent. Somebody just asked me if the interview that I did with our esteemed chief executive is available, so I'm going to reply to them in a moment with a link. Here is Pat Brown then, bowling from the racecourse, and his first over of the season for Derbyshire in the List A competition. And Iyer tries to pull it into the leg side. Manages to do so, but without any kind of timing. And as a result, there is no run.
Yeah, he's pulled it straight to mid-wicket there, hasn't he? This not been in the country for too long, I don't think. He arrived over the course of the weekend, but wasn't quite registered in time to play on Sunday against Kent.
This is his second ever in advances on Pat Brown. Have you not heard about Pat Brown? That one, again, mistimed. Goes up to Samit at mid-on. Pat will enjoy that. He played a red ball game. He hasn't had a huge amount of success in red ball cricket for Derbyshire. He wants to play in the county championship, which he didn't do much of at Worcestershire. I think largely because his body kept letting him down.
Right.
He's been fairly sturdy since arriving at Derbyshire. And his happiest time, I spoke to him about it, was when one of the opposition teams were advancing on him. He said he could bring all his tricks out. He bowls to Iyer now. That one is driven into the ground and over the head of Sam Connors on the 30-yard circle at cover and goes all the way to the boundary for 4. So Iyer picks up his first boundary of the match, and Lancashire move on to 42 for 3 when he could use his back of the hand slower balls and variations in pace. He was outstanding in the T20, picked up in excess of 20 wickets.
How many times he played for England, didn't he?
Yes, played T20 cricket for England. Yeah.
This is when he was at Worcestershire, wasn't he? Yeah,
yes.
That stellar couple of years, didn't he?
They won the Blast,
Yeah.
and he starred in the final, didn't he? I think he got an England call on the back of that as he bowls to Iyer, who pushes this one out into the offside. Connors will field.
And I think it was that part of his strength and what attracted him to England was that ability to bowl all these different variations, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think he still has ambitions to get back in there. How easy it is to get into an England squad anymore, I have no idea. But
it's a pretty tough side to get into, isn't it?
yeah. Although there'll be a new coach there soon,
Well, that's
so
true,
he might have a chance. But I know he wants to play again. But of course, a lot of bowlers now have all the variations that Brown had earlier on in his career. That one is driven towards backward point, a little awkward bobble for Bin Naeem, but he keeps his eye on the ball. They go through for a single. Aya moves to 6:43 for 3. 1 ball left of the 10th over. So the first portion of the game, it is 10, isn't it, or is it 20? Might be 20.
10.
I can't remember.
Well, for the like on the power play.
Yeah, that's right. 10,
10.
10, 30 and 10.
That's it, yep.
I was reasonably confident, then doubted myself. So he comes to finish his first over, 5 runs from it. Brown to Flintoff, who guides this to backward point, where it's fielded by Lewis Rees, judging by the way he's about to throw the ball. And there is no run, so 10 overs gone, 43 for 3. It's been a little sluggish. We've had 48 minutes, 10 overs in 48 minutes. Good grief. Derbyshire are reasonably sluggish with their overs in most forms. Well, in this form and in certainly in red ball cricket, they're hopeless. But there is the signal from umpire Peter Hartley to say that's the end of the first 10 overs. They are called power plays on the scoreboard, but they're not really power plays. They're more like phases of the game.
Yeah, you just get them slowly releasing more fielders out of the fielding circle through the course of the match, aren't you, really, with this form? That's still a problem with Rocky's helmet, by the looks of it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's back out again to do a bit of running repairs on it.
Man with the screwdriver.
Ah, you need a screwdriver. Can't have a kit bag without a screwdriver in it.
Good grief.
Yeah,
It was probably 4 or 5 minutes to sort him out before, which is fair enough. So that will be taken into consideration. In fact, the cut-off time's already slipped to so 6 minutes that's been added so far. It's gone to 2:36 now instead of 2:30. So we could be here longer than we thought if Lancashire can bowl their full 50, bat their full 50 overs. There's no reason to suspect they can't. Still got a slip in place though, which is good to see.
Yeah, both batters are pretty new, aren't they? Aya's only faced 6 deliveries, Flintoff's faced 13. On the attack still. Aya's on strike. And Moore comes in and bowls. It's just worked her way down towards the third man boundary for a single. And Aya moves on to 7. So Chappell's opening spell, 5 overs, 2 for 19 was a superstar. And Harry Moore replacing him from the City end.
Flintoff just doing something with his helmet.
He's not happy with it, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. It'll be interesting now to see how much information Harry Moore has gleaned from watching Rocky Flintoff bat and how much information Flintoff has gleaned from watching Harry Moore bowl. Because the 219 internationals are bowling are facing each other here, which is great to see.
Well, straight away, he's asked Lewis Rees to go from mid-wicket to cover, so they've got an extra fielder on the offside. There's a mid-off cover and a backward point, and then the fielder out on the boundary at extra cover. The third man drops back, slip in place, mid-on. So it's Harry Moore for Derbyshire in and bowls to Flintoff, and that's turned up towards Samit Patel at mid-on, and there's no run.
I just had to stand up and lean forward, but there is a man down at long leg. I think it looks like Matt Lamb down there. Sam Connor's having a couple of tablets of some description. Might be salt tablets, I suppose. A warm day here in Derby. Another warm day in Derby. I think we're officially heat wave.
Happy days.
It's going to rain tomorrow.
Moore back into Flintoff. Defends calmly back down the pitch, and there's no run. We've had 3 days on the spin, so it must be heat wave territory now.
Yes, I think that's the official definition, isn't it? 3 days of above 28, I think I read.
Balmy times for us to be living in.
There might be a drop of rain in the early hours of tomorrow morning in this area, but nothing untoward in the forecast. Doesn't look great for home when I go home tonight. Thunderstorms in the northwest.
Oh, well, I'm going in the other direction, so I'm not that bothered. Here comes more balls to Flintoff. That's turned out towards mid-wicket. And Samit Patel from mid-on will go chasing after it. And he gets to the ball, and Flintoff gets another run. He moves to 12.45 for 3.
That's what I like most about this job, is the camaraderie between the commentators. Always looking out for each other.
You make sure you have a nice, safe trip back to the northwest.
The more times you can avoid going on the M6 between Warrington and Stoke, the better.
It was remarkably quiet this morning. I was amazed how
School
quiet.
holidays, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, first week of the school holidays.
That'll be it. Moore to Ayer. Down the pitch he comes and hits it back over Harry Moore's head, down towards the long off boundary. And it's 4 runs for Venkatesh Ayer, and he moves to 11. Lancashire now 49 for 3.
The second bowler he's advanced on. He advanced on Brown in the previous over. Now he's done it to Harry Moore.
I was just looking at Venkatesh Ayer's list A record, of which he's played 2 one-day internationals for India. He's played 43 list A games in his career. And that's, again, 4 more. This time it's just straight drive through mid-off for 4. Previous boundary was a little skip down the pitch, a bit more attacking, and he's just timed that. He's cushioned it back down the ground for 4. Brings up Lancashire's 50, 53 for 3. And we've had 11 overs, so he's just approaching 1,500 runs in List A cricket. It's an average of 44. He's got 4 List A centuries. Top score of 198, but he's...
Blimey.
Combine that with his T20 record. He's played a lot of white ball cricket, so you've got... And one of the reasons I think, apart from him, clearly he's a good player, that he's been signed is that he can bring some experience to some younger players. So you don't really much of a bigger contrast than a 16-year-old Rocky Flintoff at one end and a guy that's played international cricket at the other.
No, true enough. True enough. So Sammett's obviously played international cricket. Pat Brown's played international cricket, but I think that's it for Derbyshire. Certainly in open age. Here is Pat Brown bowling to Flintoff, who gets struck on the pad. Big appeal. It sounded like there were 2 noises to me, but Pat Brown's got his hands on his little teapot and then strokes his chin thoughtfully as he walks back. Flintoff just leans on his bat, entirely unmoved, as was umpire Ashraf.
Went for the Yorker, didn't he? Speared it in full. He didn't hit it, and I think the view may be that it's sliding down the leg side.
Oh, okay.
He did sound. He did, yeah. Did sound like he may have got a bit of something on it.
Lloyd still in at slip as Brown goes in again. Short ball pulled but not controlled out towards long leg. But it drops short of Zach Chappell down there. So he's happy to take on the short ball. Flintoff moves to 13 with a single, 54 for 3. So not entirely in control, and then plays a shot at the non-striker's end to suggest he wanted to keep it down, really, which would make more sense. As Bin Naeem is told to come in and then told to go back out again onto the cover boundary. Sam Connors going into point. Brown bowling to Venkatesh Ayer, who's on 15 off 9, and he's lifted this into the leg side. He could be in trouble here. Harry Kame's underneath it and takes the catch, and he is in trouble. He volleys the ball back in field. He is caught on the square leg boundary. Venkatesh Ayer, not a clever shot, really. It was banged in reasonably short by Pat Brown. He took it on, and he's perished. And Lancashire are 54 for 4 now.
Yeah, it's a big wicket, that. I mean, Lancashire desperately searching for a partnership here and relying on one of their most experienced players. It's perhaps not the greatest shot from Venkatesh Ayer. Man out there at square leg to take a pretty steady catch, really. 27-run partnership, and Lancashire have lost their 4th wicket now.
He didn't have to move much, did he, Harry Kame, out there on the boundary? No. Didn't have to move much at all, which is never a good thing. If you make the fielder run around the boundary and pull off a spectacular catch, then fair play, but he didn't have to do an awful lot there.
No, it's going pretty much straight to him, isn't it?
I'm going George Balderson.
I think it would be next year.
Yeah, looks like him. Left-handed?
Yep.
Yeah, he's just practiced a left-handed shot. Good.
Yeah, Balderson, and then it's kind of the bowlers, really. I mean, Chris Green bowling all round, Tom Aspinwall bowling all-rounder, barely can bat a bit, but this is the last kind of genuine genuine batting partnership here. You're then asking the all-rounders to come in and try and piece something together here.
You got early check-in at your hotel tonight? I've thought long and hard about saying that out loud, because I'll come back and bite me. It will come back and bite me.
Well, he can't he? I mean, there's a great example of it. What with Derbyshire the other week?
79 for 9. For 7. Yeah. I won the game. Remarkable.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
it's brilliant.
One of the great things about this format.
Yeah. Not until I got the winning runs was I 100% convinced.
Fair enough.
Pat Brown bowling to Balderson. That one hurried him a little bit as he took one hand off the bat and turned it into the leg side for a single to get off the mark. It's 55 for 4 now.
We had a great game at Blackpool on Sunday. Went right down to the final ball of the match. Lancashire playing against Kent in Blackpool on Sunday. It was a bit of a low-scoring game. You normally trying to get scores of like 350, 360 at Blackpool. Tends to be winning scores, and it wasn't that match. Kent got 209, and Lancashire all out for 205 in the final over of the match. So yeah, it was a brilliant game of cricket. Really thrilling 50-over match that bubbled up quite nicely through the course of the day.
I don't mind wickets falling. You had a good contest, though, as Brown is in, and that one is lifted into the leg side. Yusuf bin Naeem's underneath it, and now Flintoff has gone. And Derbyshire, well, they're on top here, no question about it. We're only in the 12th over, and Lancashire are 55 for 5. Flintoff goes for 13.
Well, it's going to take some recovery, isn't it, at this point in the 12th over. Again, hauling out towards deep square leg by Flintoff. Derbyshire celebrate another wicket. Lancashire in real trouble here. One ball after the 12th over, 55 for 5. Brown's been excellent. Chappell and Connors have all chipped in so far. And Lancashire on the ropes a bit here. Balderson, I suspect Chris Green will come out to join him.
So they've had 2 wickets in and over twice. As Chris Green, as Scott suggested, comes out again. We saw that Flintoff wasn't scared of taking on the short ball, but I mean, he's got nothing on that, has he really? Yusuf bin Naeem must be 20 yards inside the rope by the time he got to the ball. He's quick over the ground, the young man, and as he showed on Saturday and again today, he's got a good pair of hands as well. You can watch the ball sail towards him. If he gets into position, he looks like he's going to take the catches, so that'll be excellent for his confidence. Yet to see him bat. Looking forward to that. Chris Green, who once again isn't wearing green boots. He's got white boots on. It's hugely disappointing.
Maybe he just saves it exclusively for T20 cricket.
Yeah, must do. Disappointing. Oh, look at the time. Better put my alarm, what's it on me? Stopwatch. Now we've got another gold medal in the quadruple sculls. Excellent. Here goes Pat Brown then. Into bowl to Chris Green, who defends this one back towards him. He's going to get 4 runs for it, actually. It was just a defensive push as much as anything, and Brown stuck out a foot, couldn't stop the ball, and it goes for 4, so Green off the mark. But Lancashire 59 for 5 after 12 overs. 2 wickets apiece for Zach Chappell and Pat Brown, 1 for Sam Connors. Highest score, 18 from George Bell, who got 8 off the first over. So 12 gone. Harry Moore is going to continue from the City end. Oh, we're winning an absolute bucket load of medals. And it will be George Balderson to face just his second delivery. He's on his way in his more bowls to Balderson, who's edged this one in between slip and backward point for a single. He went quite hard at that one, perhaps a bit too hard at that one. If you were planning on coming at the end of the day, just keep abreast of the score. Don't forget they are playing again, Derbyshire, here on Friday against Worcestershire, which Could be quite the game. Long way to go in this one yet, though. 37 overs and 5 balls at the Lancashire innings. 60 for 5, though. As Moore is on his way in to bowl to Chris Green, who defends this one out into the offside. Fielded by Lewis Rees, and there's no run. I will run through the scores from elsewhere in a moment or so's time. But I do have an update for BBC Radio Derby listeners first, which I think is reasonably imminent. Good crowd in again. And Harry Moore on his way in to bowl to Chris Green, who defends this one out into the offside. Again, it's fielded by Lewis Rees. And again, there is no run. And they made a terrific start, Wesley. Lancashire were put into bat by Derbyshire. They're 60 for 5. Zach Chappell with a couple of wickets. Pat Brown with a couple of wickets. And their wickets all came in the same over that they bowled. Sam Connor starting things off by picking up the first in just the second over of the match. Brown back in the side in place of Darren Dupavillon. It's worked. Lancashire 60 for 5 in the 13th. Next delivery, final delivery. No, not the final delivery, the fourth delivery of the over is defended again by Chris Green. And once more, there is no run. So a really good start by Derbyshire. As you can probably tell by the chat out there at the moment. This looks like a confident side to me. As Green taps his bat, then flexes his knees. Moore's on his way in, bowls to him, and he defends this one past Lewis Rees on this occasion, up towards mid-off, where it's fielded by Zach Chappell. Ons on one side, offs on the other. It's all very straightforward. But I just got them the wrong way around.
These things happen. Happen to me all the time.
Seems to be warming up by the minute as well, certainly in this box.
Toasty.
Yeah, I might have to see if I can flip the switch on the aircon at some point. Here is Moore then, this time to complete the over. Oh, he's bowled him. Well, Green went for quite an expansive looking drive. Whether he's got a little inside edge or not, I'm not entirely certain, but he's bowled him. Middle and off stump are some distance apart now. Neither of them came out of the ground, but Green goes for 4. And that early finish we were craving may well happen. I say we were craving, it was just me. Lancashire 60 for 4 as Green goes for 4.
Yeah, it's crumbling apart here, isn't it, for Lancashire? Pitch might be doing a little bit. There's been some pretty poor shots in there as well. And Lancashire on the, they're in serious danger of getting absolutely nothing on the ball. They've got to try and find some way of putting something together here, because this is unravelling pretty quickly.
Yes, it is. I'm just trying, but I can't tell from that because I didn't see it from front on whether or not you got a little inside. Here we go. Might be able to tell from this if it's slowed down as well, chaps. If you can hear me, yeah, it is slowed down. There we go. Oh no, it just went straight through, didn't it? He's missed it. Yeah. And it didn't do it's angled in. The angle that he's bowling from, he's a tall man. He gets good height on a delivery, but he didn't do an awful lot, if I'm entirely honest. And Chris Green will be, as they say in sporting circles, disappointed.
Yep, just a bit.
Pat Brown goes in for a start of a new over. It's Tom Aspinwall, the new batter, incidentally. He'll now be on strike because Balderson's picked up a single. He moves on to 361 for 6. See, if I'd done research, it's not even research. It's basically just remembering what happened on Sunday, which is something that I really struggle with. Trying to recall what Middlesex got on this same pitch. Middlesex made 266, and it never felt like enough. As Brown is in, short delivery, ducked underneath by Aspinwall. The umpire says that's one for the over, checked with square leg, just to see if it might have been in no ball territory. but it wasn't. And Zach Chappell, I've done him a disservice. He picked up a wicket, 1 for 64 on Saturday. Sam Connors picked up a couple, so did Harry Moore. Darren Dupavalon with 3, and Samit, who hasn't bowled yet, picked up 2 wickets for 49 from his 10 overs, which is such a Samit Patel kind of figures for a match. As Pat Brown goes in, bowls to Aspinwall, who leaves this one alone outside the off stump. Is he from Wigan? Tom Aspinwall. Sorry. I shouldn't ask questions. No, if you
should know these
if you asked me where any of these Derbyshire players were born, I could sort of give you the rough area, but
he went to Sedbergh School, I know that.
Oh, right, okay. There was an Aspinwall who played rugby league for Wigan. It's a relatively unusual name. I just wondered if it was a name synonymous with that kind of area, or just a Lancastrian name. Again, not a question to which I expect you to know the answer, as Brown is in a bowl stream and he's beaten him. Aspinwall playing at that one. It was a lifting delivery short of a length that went through to Brooke Guest. They've now got the 2 slips back in place. Lewis Rees, who isn't a Lancastrian but played for Lancashire, is one of the slips. David Lloyd, who isn't a Welshman, who is a Welshman, who isn't a Lancastrian, he's from Wrexham, is at first slip. We're 50% light on Welshmen in the Derbyshire side at the moment, with an Aaron Donald away with Birmingham Phoenix, I think he's with. Hasn't had a happy time. Scored a run in each of his 2 innings. Pat Brown bowls. That's beaten Aspinwall again. This one looked like a slower delivery because it died on Brooke Guest, another former Lancashire player, on its way through. And he is a Lancastrian, born in Manchester. If we're going on historical county boundaries, which I like to do. Although he was brought up in Perth in Western Australia.
He's born in Lancaster, Tom Aspinwall.
Oh, okay. Was Croft born in Lancaster?
Blackpool.
Somebody else was born in Lancaster, unless it was Aspinwall I asked you about last time. Here's Brown into bowl to Aspinwall. He's edged through to the keeper and gone. And Brooke Guest takes a comfortable catch, and Pat Brown, on his return to the Derbyshire side, has picked up his 3rd wicket. Aspinwall goes without scoring, and Lancashire are 61 for 7 now.
Blimey.
I don't really know what to say.
No, well, I don't particularly.
Final ball of the 14th over.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Keep to the score, I think.
Yeah, this is not going
It's
well.
pretty dismal.
I know that, and it's the same. I mean, Derbyshire have lost 4, and I was talking to the guys from the Lancashire media team before, and they put together an 11 of players who weren't available. Not all who would have. I mean, it included Liam Livingston. It included Josh Butler, who Josh Butler hardly plays for Lancashire anymore, does he?
No, I don't think he really is a Lancashire player.
Well, exactly. So but there are 11 players who aren't playing today who could. Who could play for Lancashire, and it is difficult. But I mean, there are still some pretty good. Remember Hannon and Balderson and Green and Aspinwall. They're all George Bell. They've all got experience of playing first-team cricket.
They have,
It's not a complete under-19s side.
No. I mean, Bell, Bohannon, and Balderson and Green and Bailey and Blatherwick are all in and around Lancashire's, and Aspinwall, around Lancashire's championship side, for example. So no, I mean, Singsley, obviously a young lad, and Flintoff and Barnard are in that kind of young players being given an opportunity category. The others are a little bit. I mean, they're still relatively young.
Yes, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
They have played a decent-ish amount, but and obviously they've got 2 very good overseas pros in there, in Venkatesh Iyer and Chris Green, to try and help them along the way. 61 for 7 then, 14 overs gone.
They'll have to help them on the way with the ball.
Yeah.
Those 2. They'll come up with something spectacular if things
Yeah.
carry on like this.
I'm not sure how much Venkatesh Iyer actually does bowl.
Get him on.
Yeah. Balderson waiting. As Moore starts his 3rd over and bowls through to Brooke Guest, and there is no run. 61 for 7, Lancashire. Bell for 18, Singh for 0. Bohannon for 7, Flintoff for 13, Iyer for 15, Green for 4, and Aspinwall without scoring. So it's Jack Blatherwick at the non-striker's end. As Harry Moore turns from the City end and sets off again with Balderson waiting. It's cut away by Balderson out toward deep backward point. Nice looking shot for 4 runs. Just a little bit of width for him to free his arms up, and he made the most of it. He moves on to 7, 65 for 7.
I'm going to get my stats that David Griffin gave me out quite early here.
Is this an earlier than expected stat that you were
you
were saving up for something later?
I was saving up to say, well, I'm not surprised they haven't beaten them, because they haven't beaten them since 2008 in List A cricket. Derbyshire haven't beaten Lancashire since 2008. And they haven't scored a one-day century since 1997.
There's more to Balderson. There's a bit of extra nip and bounce, and through it goes to Brook, and there's no run.
And they've won twice in the last 22 meetings between the sides in List A cricket.
Wow.
Derbyshire.
That is a stat.
So I've got all the stats out there now. Thank you, Griff. You went through them with me this morning very specifically. Now, when this happens, you say this. He's like a director.
I like that.
In my ear.
Yeah, little producer.
Don't forget to mention.
65 for 7. More. The Derbyshire comes back in and bowls over the wicket to Balderson, who drives to Samit Patel, who's at mid-off, and there's no run.
We get to see Samit bowl. David Lloyd bowls a bit. Lewis Rees obviously bowls a bit of left arm as well, but the 4 bowlers they've used: Zach Chappell, 2 for 19, Sam Connors, 1 for 19, Pat Brown, 3 for 12, Harry Moore, 1 for 15. They're the main engine room of the bowling department, if you like, along with Samit.
Well, the skipper's enjoying what he's seeing at the minute from that wide mid-off position. As more balls to Balderson, who defends, steers it down towards backward point, and there's no run.
Just hoping that your actual skipper, Ross Whiteley, is watching and listening on to his side. Appointed captain one day, captain the side the next, and then whipped away the day after. Quite a whirlwind for Ross, I think. Gone down to play for the Welsh Fire, whoever they are.
Well, they're the Welsh Fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's more in and balls to Balderson. That's played away to the offside, just dabbed out towards point, and there's no run. It's the end of the over. 65 for 7. Balderson on 7, and Blatherwick on 0.
Well, you know, you hear these little things. Naren Donald was listening to, he plays for Birmingham Phoenix there at Trent Bridge later on today. He was listening to the game from Northampton in a hot tub.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Well, he's in a hot tub in Northampton.
No, he was away with what's it? Birmingham. Did I say
Birmingham Phoenix.
He's away with Birmingham Phoenix. He was in a hot tub.
In a hot tub
somewhere, presumably in a hotel.
Sounds very nice.
Yeah, listening to Derbyshire against or Northamptonshire against Derbyshire, which is an image that I'm even now still struggling to get out of my head. I only found that out at the weekend, because he does a very, very amusing chat as Pat Brown comes in and bowls to Blatherwick. That one goes down the leg side. He hopped out of the way of it, which is a little surprising that it's been given a wide, but it has been given a wide, and it's 66 for 7. Every Saturday you can hear on Radio Derby about 15-20 minutes worth of chat between Jack Timon, that who's been presenting on a Saturday through the summer, and Nye Donald. They talk about anything and everything. It's really very, very good. He has a future in broadcasting, I think. Not Jack Timon, obviously. I was thinking of Nye Donald. Afternoon, Jack, as this next one. He's bowled him. Pat Brown's got another. Off stump, leaning back. Blatherwick's gone. Lancashire 66 for 8. This is beyond any Derbyshire supporters' wildest dreams, surely. Balderson goes for... Was it Balderson? It was Blatherwick.
Blatherwick.
Blatherwick goes for 0. That's only the second ball he'd faced. And, well, we might not get to lunch at this rate. 66 for 8.
That stayed low, hasn't it? Stayed really low to Blatherwick, that one. But yeah, we could be in this position where you start one innings and then stop potentially for a break, don't you? That type of thing.
Yeah, let's do that.
But we might not even get to that point.
I need to go and check that we still get lunch even if it finishes before 2:30.
I've just checked what time I could cancel the hotel, but it's too late, so it looks like I'm going on anyway. Wow. This is grim viewing and listening for Lancashire, I'm afraid. 66 for 8. With one ball into the 16th over.
111 is Lancashire's lowest score against Derbyshire in List A cricket. That was at Old Trafford in 1975. It would have been a reasonably good Lancashire side back then. Barry Wood, David Lloyd, Frank Hayes, Clive Lloyd. Bernard Reedy? It was Bernard, wasn't it? Big lad, curly hair. I remember him. Somebody called Kennedy, who I don't know, and my apologies. Farouk Engineer, David Hughes, Jack Simmons, Peter Lever, and Peter Lee. That is not a bad side.
All out for what?
111, 35 overs and one ball. Alan Ward took one, Mike Hendrick a couple, Russell with 3, Fred Swarbrick got 1, Dusty Rhodes picked up 3 for 16 in 8 overs. Ron Headley opened the batting for Derbyshire, along with Phil Sharp. Anyway, here goes Pat Brown bowling to Tom Bailey, who's the new batter. It's a no ball. It's clipped into the leg side. So 3 more to the Lancashire totals. They move to 69 for 8, and Bailey gets off the mark. The first delivery. He faces Harold Rhodes in that game. Brian Bowles played for Derbyshire at the time as well. Jeff Miller went in at 3. So a match littered with international cricketers. And today, not so much. But Derbyshire won't really care at 69 for 8.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it, what impact it has, when you lose their best batter and their captain on the 2 games into the competition.
Oh, no question.
What knock-on effect that can have.
No question. Brown in, that's... I'm not sure I could explain that shot adequately. His feet were all over the place. The ball was heading towards probably shoulder or just above Balderson, and he may well have closed his eyes, I don't know. But he just swung the bat around his head, almost like he was holding a hammer in athletics. It went through to Brooke Guest. It'll go down as a dot ball, but that doesn't really adequately cover what happened there. Brown is in again, and Balderson just that's better. Guides it out into the offside. Connors has a shot at the stumps that misses, and they go through for what turned into a relatively comfortable single. 70 for 8. Mr. Rimmer next door. It's his last visit to Derby, he was telling me before. Yep. He's on his farewell tour of the country.
He's on his farewell tour
of the country.
Yeah. Buy your tickets now.
He's been the Lancashire scorer since the club was formed, I think. Fairly sure.
I reckon maybe 7 years, 7 or 8 years.
Is that all? Oh, so
he's been at the club for donkeys.
Sort of the time that I've been covering Derbyshire, he's always been there. That one is clipped away. Has it come off bat? No, it's been given as 5 wides down the leg side. There was a cry of catch. Brooke Guest flung himself to his left but couldn't get near the ball. Pat Brown has had a slightly mixed bag of an over here with a wicket, a no ball, and now 5 wides. And we're still only technically halfway through it, even though he's bowled 5 deliveries already. In fact, the first ball was wide as well, so he's had 6 wides. He'll get to the end of it eventually, though. He's on his way in now and bowls. That one is going to be signalled no ball for height.
We've seen all sorts of them. I mean, the Barwick dismissal kept low. That shot through, and that one's kind of ballooned up. So there is a little bit of that, but I'm not sure it's...
We're still only halfway through this over. Yeah. How many is that now? 7 deliveries have been sent down, and 3 of them have been legitimate. Fortunately, the one which bowled Blatherwick was also legitimate, and nothing worse than bowling somebody off a no ball.
Yeah.
But it's helped Lancashire to the tune of plenty of runs, because they moved up to 77 for 8 now. 11 these 2 have added. And this one is, he has a little prod at that one outside the off stump. Does Bailey. He misses it. Yeah, the partnership is 11 off 5 deliveries. I don't think they've been many off the bat. Couple, possibly. Yeah, just 2 off the bat.
It's been a bit of all sorts this over, hasn't it?
Very strange over from Pat Brown. I don't suppose he'll care too much. Fletcher Jr. trying to be amusing. Back before me tonight, he says. There is that potential. I might have to hang around for sports scene, I do hope not. In goes Brown and bowls. Oh, and a play and a miss. As Bailey goes forward defensively, goes past the edge. Pat Brown is starting to flag by the look of it. He's got both his hands on his head at the moment. And Chantal Reid, Derby boxer in the Olympics, has been knocked out in her first fight. I don't think British fighters have had much of... they haven't had the rub of the green as far as I can work out so far in this Olympics.
I've not seen much of the boxing. Watched a bit of the swimming last night.
The relay.
Yeah, the relay.
team,
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
very
belting
good.
them.
They were dominant, weren't they?
But I missed the Andy Murray match.
I was flicking as this one is defended by Bailey up towards Samet at mid-off. And the over finally comes to an end. 4 for 24 now, Pat Brown from 4 overs. That one, the longest over I think I've seen this season. And Pat Brown is down on his haunches at the moment, having taken his cap off the umpire. I think he's exhausted. 77 for 7 after 16. Lancashire.
Yeah, I think that was a 9-ball over, that wasn't it? Actually, to be fair, you can bowl 10 on the spin in the 100, so you know he's one short of what you could do in cricket.
Lancashire got to the point where they bowled 14 point whatever it was overs that counts to 100 balls that I spotted last week. I was excited when we get to 100 balls left. It's of no consequence, of course. Sam Connor's warming up.
77 for 8. It's Harry Moore in balls to George Balderson. Guided out through the offside for a single. Moves on to 9. And it brings Bailey back on strike. All 4 bowlers have got a wicket, at least a wicket each here. Moore's got 1, Brown's got 4 for 24. Connor's 1 and Chappell with 2.
But Brown's best figures in List A cricket, these.
Brown 4 overs, 4 for 24. It's Harry Moore in and balls. Half an appeal as
Too high, wasn't it?
Bailey tries to get forward. The ball just may have nipped back in towards Bailey. He's a tall man. If that's hit him knee roll or thereabouts, just above, maybe too high. Stifled appeal, wasn't it, really, by Moore? He kind of set off going and then changed his mind.
So his best bowling in List A prior to this is 451. Pat Brown.
There's Moore to Bailey. That's run out towards backward point, where it's fielded by Sam Connors, and there's no run.
Well bowled Brownie.
Yeah, I
There's
heard that,
somebody in
yeah.
the crowd. I don't know how much he earned for 4. I think he was on a 4-match contract with the Northern Superchargers, but,
Right.
but surplus to requirements. So he'll have picked up a couple of quid, I imagine. Very nice too. Good for him.
It's down the leg side by Moore to Bailey, taken by keeper Brooke, and there's Brooke Guest, and there's no run. Sorry, the score moves on to 79 for 8. Bailey remains on 1.
We've gone into autopilot really early here.
Clever bit, yeah.
I love doing that. So, and I do it all the time, and there's no room apart from the boundary that's just been scored.
Apart from the 6 that he just whacked it over the long on. More to Bailey. Again, that's leg side, so wide signal by the umpire. 84-8 in the 17th over. Elsewhere in this group, Hampshire have lost 5 wickets. They're at Canterbury today. Hampshire is 70 for 5. in the 21st over. And Somerset had a pretty solid start against Durham, but Chesley Street, Somerset 94 for 1 after 23 overs. More to Bailey. Just clipped off his pads down towards fine leg for a single. Bailey doubles his total. He moves to 2. Lancashire 81 for 8 in the 17th over.
I'd urge you to watch some canoeing if you get the chance. The
Okay.
kayaking and canoeing, that's really good. I like that. They're doing one later this competition where 4 go down the course at the same time, which they've never done before at
That
the
sounds
Olympics.
quite chaotic.
Yeah,
Okay.
with all that white water and everything.
Oh,
should
right,
be
nice.
should be fantastic.
More to Balderson, who's playing and edging behind and caught by Brooke Guest. And Balderson goes for 9. And Lancashire are on the brink of being skittled out for next to nothing. 81 for 9. Moore has his second. Balderson caught behind. 1 ball left of the 17th over. It has been a day to forget for Lancashire. 81 for 9.
What a great shot. It's easy for me to say, I know, but when you've got 33 overs left, you want to get to 150, 160, 170 if you possibly can, and I know it's difficult. We've seen Derbyshire do that once this season just by playing sensibly. Because if you can get 5 and over in this form of the game, you get to 250. Basic maths will tell you that. But he's played a shot there. Ball's a long way outside the off stump, and his bat's a long way away from his body. And he's feathered it through to Brooke Guest. Leave that one alone. Move on to the next one. When one is in your arc, or when you think you can nudge and nurdle it around, I know it's not the modern way. Keep going hard, keep going hard.
Can't really keep going hard at 8 down, can you, in the 17th?
No. And that was the remarkable thing about what happened last Wednesday, is that Ross Whiteley was joined by Zach Chappell, and he thought, well, it's gone. But they just sort of tapped the ball around and started to frustrate the bowlers, because even bowlers who've been picking up wickets get frustrated if they're not continuing to pick up wickets. Hit the ball when it was there to be hit. And, well, this hasn't, some of the shots have not been great, I'm afraid, from Lancashire.
No, that is perfectly fair. 1 ball left of the over. There's more to Barnard. That's run down towards third man for a single. And it's 82 for 9 at the end of the 17th over. And Harry Moore gets a round of applause. He's picked up a couple of wickets, 2 for 20 from 4 overs. Some very good-looking bowling figures there. Not surprising when the team's 80 for 9, but Chappell 2 for 19, Connors 1 for 19, Brown 4 for 24, and Harry Moore now 2 for 20.
Yeah, these will be Harry Moore's best figures as well. He did pick up 2 against Middlesex to have his best figures. So his best figures currently 2 for 39 from 10 overs, which was good bowling from young Harry Moore. Pat Brown looking for his first 5 for Enlist A cricket here as he continues from the racecourse end, and he's going to be bowling to Charlie Barnard. Bowls to him, shortish, wide of the off stump, slower delivery. It looked like he turned around and blamed the footmarks that he claims to have slipped in the air. There we go, a little kick of the footmarks. It was a strange old delivery from Pat Brown, left alone by Barnard. And it remains 82 for 9. So they'd have had this game on Sports Extra today, they could have had 2, 3 full games of cricket. In goes Brown and bowls, and Barnard goes back, pushes this one to backward point, and there's no run. And there's Dahl back in the Derbyshire squad after about a month out due to personal reasons. Good to see Nudge back. They named a 15-man squad for this game. He obviously missed out on selection. It's difficult to change a team when they're playing well. It was, I was going to say it was a brave decision to bring Pat Brown in. It wasn't a brave decision to bring Pat Brown in at all. He's a very good cricketer, but it just gives Darren Dupavilon a bit of extra time to recover from the ongoing ankle issue that he has, as Brown is in again. And that one is a full delivery that's clipped nicely up towards mid-on. Tumbling stop by Lamb. And there's no run. Nice shot. Really nice stop from Matt Lamb. Again, one of the non-T20 playing members of this team. So he had a bit of a rest in the middle of summer. Double century in the championship down at Bristol before the T20 started. And looks to, even though he doesn't look to be moving completely freely, looks to be moving slightly freer than he has for most of his time at Derbyshire. Brown in, short ball, ducked underneath by Barnard, through to Brooke Guest. And one for the over, says umpire Ashraf. The crowd is pretty quiet. There is a decent crowd here.
It is quite decent, isn't it?
I think it's very good. Yeah. Another opportunity to dig deep and come and see Derbyshire on Friday here against Worcestershire. And then they go on their little road trip to the southwest and the south coast before returning. As Brown is in bowls, that one is defended by Barnard, straight to Matt Lamb. So yeah, so it's Worcestershire here on Friday, Somerset away on Sunday, Hampshire away the following Wednesday, and then back home to play Kent before they round off this competition with everybody's favourite trip, Durham.
And it's the top three, isn't it, that qualify?
Top three qualified. Group leaders go straight to the semi-finals. Second place, third, crossover
in the old playoff thing.
The playoff. Yeah. And those games, for those interested, I discovered today. I'll come back to that. As Pat Brown is in and bowls and edges this one down to third man, just to the right of a diving Lewis Rees for 4 runs. Barnard moves on to 5. End of the over, 18 gone, 86 for 9 now, Lancashire. The first playoff is on the 16th of August, which is the Friday. That's 2 days after Derbyshire come back from Durham, should they finish in the top 3, but not in the top 2. Mm-hmm. And the semi-finals are 2 days after that, on the 18th of August.
Which makes perfect sense, that you play your knockout games on the back of a group.
And then the finals on the 21st of September.
Utterly bizarre again, isn't it? But at least...
Which is a Sunday, I think. Yeah, 22nd of September, I beg your pardon, which is a Sunday, and it's at the home of cricket, Trent Bridge.
At least you get your knockout games on the back of the...
Yes.
Back of the
You're
group
in that
stage.
mode.
You are, yeah. Barely defends. And it's picked up by Moore off his own bowling, and there's no run.
My listeners won't be surprised to know that I hadn't put the knockout stages.
You'd not scheduled that into your rota?
No,
right.
no. And I've now put them in.
I would if I were you.
I've put them in yellow to start with.
I'm on the brink of removing them. In fact, I think I might.
Well, I'm due to be in the office on the day of the playoffs, so that might have to change. Dom, if you're listening.
86 for 9. 86 for 9. Here comes Moore, balls to Bailey. And that's chipped down the ground by Tom Bailey to the left of Samet.
It's a big cheer. Big cheer for Samet.
Catches up with the ball. Bailey comes back for 2.
Happened to him twice on... They ran a 4 at Middlesex as he was forced to chase the ball out to the boundary. I think initially he thought it had the legs to go for 4, and then it sort of stopped about 3 yards inside the boundary and then had to run after it. And Middlesex managed an all-run 4, which is always very exciting.
Oh, I bet you are, yeah. That's great.
I do like an all-run 4.
Bailey defends to mid-wicket for a single. He's on to 5, 89 for 9.
Terrific value, Samet, when you speak to him now. Very much says what he thinks.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like a bit of that.
He was being taunted at Leicester in the T20 for not running 2s. Gave them a little bit of a send-off, the supporters at the end of the game when Derbyshire won.
Excellent.
And I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, don't mind that. Happy to give it back.
There's more. And balls to Barnard. That's Play back down the pitch. And fielded by Moore, low down off his own bowling, and there's no run. Well, he's at that part of his career now where I guess you don't really...
No, he doesn't care.
Okay.
No.
Say it as you see it.
He was very, very happy to see Derbyshire beat Nottinghamshire here for the
I bet he was,
first
yeah.
time they've beaten them since 2015 in the
Wow.
T20.
Great.
He was the captain.
Enjoyed it.
Celebrated with the rest of them. Yeah, oh yeah, he enjoyed that.
Good to see that, though, isn't it? There's more. He's into Barnard. It's pulled. Lands safe out towards the square leg boundary. Barnard moves on to 6. I think he's 91. I thought it was 91 for 9, but either way, we'll go with the scoreboard. 90 for 9. Barnard 6. Barely on 4.
I think a bit like Jimmy in England. Samet didn't really want to leave Nottinghamshire.
Oh, okay, right.
He was surplus to requirements,
Right.
too expensive, whatever. So, yeah, I think he thinks he's got something to prove in the final. He's here on a 2-year contract.
Okay. Final ball of the over. Bailey waits. Small comes in. Bowls. It's short. And it's through to the keeper, Brooke Guest, and that completes the over. 19 gone. And Lancashire kind of limping along. 90 for 9. Barnard on 6 and Bailey on 4.
The other thing that there isn't anything worse than is a one-sided game of white ball cricket. So, Lancashire will require early wickets whenever they start to bowl, which I wouldn't imagine being too far away. Still 31 overs of the innings to go, though. We haven't had a full 20 overs yet. And they're already 90 for 9 with Pat Brown back to see if he can find this 5th wicket. Oh dear, I'm starting to get messages. Here comes Brown then in and bowls. That's a short delivery wide of the off stump and signal 1 for the over, interestingly. Looked both wide and high. Random females enjoying our chat, remarkably. She needs to get out more. Dismayed, though, to find there's no One Day Cup this Saturday. She's doing a 50-kilometre hike for charity. Was hoping for some BBC commentary to accompany her. I'm sure there's a podcast or two you could find to do with cricket. Surely to goodness. In goes Brown, bowls. This one is whipped away nicely by Barnard out towards square leg. Bin Naeem just fumbles initially, but keeps them down to a single. Barnard moves to 7, 91 for 9. I'm glad Ashthorne has found received the link to the interview with Ryan Duckett that we did yesterday. There's also a little write-up, should you prefer that, on the BBC Sport website. I didn't write it, for those asking. I do get a mention, though, which is nice. Makes it all worthwhile. Here is Brown in and bowls to Bailey, who tries to whip this one. And that's gone for 5 wides, down the leg side. Perhaps a slower ball. He tried to whip it away. He didn't whip it away. Didn't touch it, in fact. And Brooke Guest, diving to his left, couldn't get there either. And Lancashire moved to 95 for 9. They're in danger of not scoring their lowest score against Derbyshire in List A cricket. At this rate, these two are putting on run a ball 14 by hook or by crook.
What was that score again? The lowest one? Was it 1?
1-1-1. Yeah, I think. Dear. Yes, 1975. You won't need it. You won't need that information. Another 17 runs to go. Now there's a slight hiatus here while they look for the ball underneath the permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground. Where was it? I'm trying to think. I've seen something that was incredibly village in this competition. In a game involving Derbyshire where they were looking for the ball, and you're thinking, this can't be right. Just change the ball or do something, but I waited forever to find. I can't remember which game it was now. We've only played 2. Must have been at Northampton. Anyway, David Lloyd has retrieved the ball. He now has to make his way back to first slip, where he's been for pretty much the entirety of this match so far. 95 for 9 as Brown goes in and bowls to Barnard. This one's gone up in the air. Is it going to land? It's going to land safely. Harry Moore down there in the distance. Have to be careful of the spin on that one as well. Bailey picks up a run For his troubles, he moves to 5.97. For 9, the scoreboard's just ground to a halt.
Another feeling.
Must be 97, surely.
I thought it was a run short, yeah, but
Bailey's not on strike now, so what's happened with the scoreboard? What's going on with the scoreboard, Jane? In goes Brown and bowls. That one is clipped by Barnard. Up towards sliding Matt Lamb. And there is no run. Jane's now got steam coming out of her ears. Sparks coming off her keyboard. No idea what's going on. We think it's 97 for 9.
she baked a lovely chocolate.
Yeah, beautiful,
chocolate
wasn't it?
thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Very nice.
full marks for
Yeah,
that.
top.
Just 5 out of 10 for the scoreboard at the moment. As Brown is in, that one is driven. He didn't really time it there, Barnard, but he's going to get at least a couple of runs. In fact, he will just get a couple of runs. He'll move to 9. I think it's 99 for 9, but I'm not 100% certain about anything anymore.
I've been like that for some time now. Probably 3 or 4 years.
It is 99 for 9. There we go. Beautiful. It's all caught up. And 1 ball of the 20th over to go. I don't think it was operator error. I think it was just a glitch in the matrix. So Pat Brown to bowl the final ball of his 6th over, 4 for 37 at the moment. He's in and bowls and gets his 5th wicket. Barnard, middle stump, leaning back, and Lancashire are all out for 99. Barnard goes for 9 off 14 deliveries, Bailey unbeaten on 5. And Derbyshire have the perfect opportunity in which to make it 3 wins out of 3 in this competition. As the 10th and final wicket goes down, 101 all out after exactly 20 overs. It's Charlie Barnard, the man dismissed. He made 9. Tom Bailey finished on 5. And the bowling figures, well, it's a career best 5 for Pat Brown, 5 for 37. Career best figures as well for Harry Moore. He finishes with 2 for 23 as the big screen just shows a replay of the final dismissal of the innings. Zach Chappell finished with 2 for 19, 1 for 19 for Sam Connors. Just the 4 bowlers used in those 20 overs that were bowled. High score for Lancashire. George Bell, the opener, made 18. And Pat Brown leaves the field with the ball held aloft and to the applause of a very, very decent crowd inside the county ground here on a Wednesday early afternoon. Only 2 of the batters got into double figures. Venkatesh Iyer made 15 and Rocky Flintoff made 13, but both perished as they took on the short ball, both from Pat Brown. And the rest of the batters, well, in single figures, 19 extras. Good job. And it's 101, the final score, is it? No, it's 99. I don't know. It went to 101 on the big scoreboard. I'm getting horribly, horribly confused. So that now becomes Lancashire's lowest score in List A cricket against Derbyshire, eclipsing, if that's the right word, the 111 that they got at Old Trafford in 1975 with that star-studded team. And in that one, Derbyshire went on to win by 3 wickets. Can they win here? I think we're only going to have a 10-minute break. I'd be 100% certain that we're only going to have a 10-minute break, so we might as well have an 8-minute break ourselves. And we will be back for the Derbyshire reply as soon as it starts. Well, we're back. It was slightly longer than 10 minutes, and apologies for that. I just assumed that that there would be a 10-minute break rather than go for the full-blown lunch. The good news was that our lunch was here. The bad news was that the players' food was scrambled together, I think. They weren't quite expecting the game to be halfway through after 20 overs. Anyway, Harry Kane and Lewis Rees are out in the middle. Tom Bailey will bowl the first delivery. Derbyshire chasing 100 in 50 overs to win. The first ball is pushed out into the offside by Kane, and there's no run. I think they're favourites, Derbyshire.
Slightly.
I'll go no further than that.
Never know until it's up both sides of a bat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, you never know what the pitch is like.
Yeah.
Pat Brown, which I admitted to say it's his list day debut for Derbyshire. He didn't play last season when he was on loan. As Bailey's in, that one's turned nicely into the leg side by Harry Kane for a single. Derbyshire up and running. One without loss. Duckworth Lewis is going to be interesting. We won't need it because there isn't going to be any rain before the game finishes, but I don't think it's going to be tested. There have to be one off the first over to be level on Duckworth Lewis. Which is on the scoreboard. Required rate 2 and over. Current run rate 3 and over. There's very little you can say that doesn't sound facetious. Bailey bowls and Rees defends. A slight leading edge look about that shot back towards Bailey. No run again. 2 slips in place for Lancashire. They've got to attack, really. They need to pick up 10 wickets to win the game. You wonder if they're already beaten in their own minds, though. Many teams would be. They've been dismissed for 99. Here goes Bailey. Halfway through the first over, he's in a bowls to Rees, who a slight uncertain look about that drive into the offside. It's filled by Charlie Barnard. And there's no run. Charlie Barnard, the last man out, but by no means the most culpable. He was bowled by Pat Brown. Set up nicely. People out there were saying it was great. A short ball, a slower ball, and then just did him. Here goes Bailey again. Bowls. That one is past the edge of the bat. There we go. Lewis Rees playing a defensive shot. Ball goes through to wicketkeeper George Bell. I'm going to give you the scores from elsewhere because I can think of nothing to talk about in this game now. Until 5 wickets have fallen, this is a dead duck. Somerset 159 for 3 against Durham in the 37th over there at Chester Street. Somerset won the toss, decided to have a bat first. Hampshire 119 for 8 against Kent at Beckenham. As Bailey bowls, Rees defends. And Derbyshire are behind the required rate. End of the first over, 1 without loss, chasing 100 to win.
Yes, I noticed some of the scores elsewhere. There were kind of a few wickets falling. We saw that the other day on Sunday. There were quite a lot of wickets fell on Sunday. Teams were struggling to get scores on the board. I'm sure in a bit of bother, but
This is the only game in the second innings, though.
yes, but there's nothing quite like what we've seen here.
I've not really looked at the
Group B.
Yeah.
Oh, you should do.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I think. Well, it's always exciting. Is Group B? I think.
Yeah.
It's, of the 2 groups,
You like B, do you?
B's a really, really good group. One of my favourite all-time groups. Better than the Bee Gees.
Marvellous.
It'll be Jack Blatherwick from the City end to take the new ball from that top end for Lancashire. And bowls pushed away by Harry Kane off the front foot, eased out towards backward point. George Balderson fields, and there is no run.
What's happening in your favourite group?
Well, I'm going to have a look then. Essex against Leicestershire is one of the games taking place at Chelmsford.
Any group with Leicestershire in is going to be a good group, isn't it?
Well, Essex are batting first, and they're 159 for 3 with Matt Critchley, 47 not out.
Good player. Played for both of these teams, so was certainly on the books. He didn't play for Lancashire in the end, did he?
Blatherwick to Kane. That's off the back foot this time and defended. No run. So Essex v Leicestershire with Essex 1-5-9 for 3. The Yorkies today up against Sussex. And they're in York for this game. Yorkshire 174 for 5. Shah Massoud 63, run out on 63. Harry Dukes batting alongside Matthew Revis. 174 for 5 Yorkshire. And defended away to cover. And there is no run. And the other group, Glamorgan, other game rather, Glamorgan against Nottinghamshire at Neath. Lancashire played there a couple of years ago. And they are 154 for 4, Nottinghamshire. Hasib Hamid, 67 not out. 154 for 4 after 35 overs. Notts against Glamorgan. Blatherwick comes in and bowls. Run away, backward of point, beyond the dive of Balderson. Aspinwall trying to get across and cut it off, and he puts the dive in and actually does flick the ball back, but then it just spins back towards the rope, and it's gone for 4. And Harry Kane moves on to 5, as indeed did Derbyshire. 5 without loss. In the second over.
The pictures of Pat Brown have been asked to do a graphic for the, because there are no pictures.
Very creative of you.
Anybody. Thrilled, of course.
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Oh, I can do all that.
Blatherwick in balls to Kane. That's dropped into the onside. No run.
The hard part is finding pictures, really.
All right.
Generally.
Well, your mate's a photographer. Can't he help you out?
Not unless I pay him.
Oh, right.
Well, this is the BBC.
Right.
We don't do that kind of. Well, we don't steal stuff, but we don't pay either, from what I can gather.
5 for no wicket with 1 ball left of the second over. Blatherwick bowls and Kane cuts down towards third man. Aspinwall cuts it off. Nice piece of work down here. Kane gets through for 1. He keeps the strike as well, so he's on to 6, but he's faced all the deliveries so far. And, sorry, he's faced 8 of the balls sent down so far. Most recently, he's faced 4 to get off the mark, and he won't be on strike neither for the start of Bailey's second over. Derbyshire 6 without loss, 2 overs gone, and that paltry target of 100 to win. To make it 3 wins from 3, take them to 6 points in a really healthy position. Kind of with a great chance of not just qualifying, but finishing perhaps in the top 2.
Whoa.
Finishing top, straight to semi-finals.
Steady on.
Well, this win would put them top.
May, isn't it? That one was turned into the leg side. Pick up a single. Harry Kane moves to 7 without loss. Sorry.
There, this win would take them to 6 points, which would push them to the top of the group. Worcestershire aren't playing.
They're here on Friday.
Today and come here on Friday, and Hampshire are struggling in their match against Kent. So there's a very good chance that Derbyshire will be a couple of points clear ahead of that game on Friday against Worcestershire.
Bailey's in. That one's turned into the leg side by Lewis Rees, who's also off the mark now with the ball turned into the leg side. He picks up a single, and it's 8 without loss.
So great spot to try and finish, well, at very least in the top 3, which gets you through the group and into the knockout stages.
Yes.
If you finish first, then you're straight into the semi-final, and second and third play each other in a playoff match.
As Bailey's in, balls to Kane, who pushes this up towards a wide-ish mid-on. There is no runs. It's fielded there by...
It's Will Williams,
Don't tell me. Who is it?
Sorry, Will Williams, is that?
Thank you. It's Will Squared,
Yes, it is, yes.
as they call him on the social media, which is a terrific name.
It is, yeah.
So somebody's not on the field then.
Yeah.
Over to you as
Cheers.
as Bailey is in, and that one is defended by Harry Kane, who of course made a century in that victory over Middlesex at the weekend, so will be full of confidence himself. There's no run.
I think it.
Is Rocky out there?
I think it might be Flintoff. Yeah, I can't see it.
That blow on the head, possibly.
Could be. Yeah.
Which is not good news moving forward, as they say either, is it? If he's feeling some effects. With that trip to the south and southwest coming up. One of 3 batters to into double figures.
It's the only trip to Taunton this year, actually. Don't play Somerset at Taunton in the Championship. They just come to Manchester.
It's only my 3rd ever. As this one is, because we don't play them in the Championship. That was beautifully driven out towards the extra cover boundary. It's going to be chased down by Josh Bohannon, and they come back for a couple. Moves to 9-10 without loss in the 3rd over. Derbyshire. How many balls left? 1 ball left in the 3rd over.
Could do a countdown of balls remaining.
Yes, they need 90 from lots.
I can't. From lots and lots.
I can't do that.
No, I can't. No.
It's 300 to start with, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. And we've had 17. So whatever 17 of 300 is.
It's in that ballpark.
283 deliveries.
Yeah.
There goes Bailey. Bowls and beats Harry Kane. That was a sharp delivery from Bailey. Nicely bowled, but Derbyshire are, in control. 10 without loss, needing a further 90 to win. And make it, as Scott said, 3 out of 3, remarkably.
Yeah, really strong position. Kent are potentially going to win their match because they're playing Hampshire, and Hampshire not got many on the board for 8 down. There's only 2 teams with yet to register a point. Lancashire look like it's going to be 3 defeats from 3 and rock bottom, and then Northamptonshire also 3 defeats from 3. Middlesex 1 win from 3 of 2 points. Durham of 2 points, 1 from 3. Kent 1 from 2 with 2 points. Somerset 1 win from 2 with 2 points. Derbyshire, Hampshire, Worcestershire going into this today with 4 points in the top 3. And there's Blatherwick bowls to Lewis Rees. That's just tapped into the offside for no run. And you've got 4 home games and 4 away games in this format. Lancashire have already played 2 of their 4 home matches, neither at Old Trafford, one at Sedbergh School and one at Blackpool.
Do you play at Old Trafford?
We had the final 2 were at Old Trafford. Blatherwick's in to Rees. It's played calmly away off the back foot towards backward point for no run, and they've got Middlesex and Worcestershire at OT. With 3 away games to come: Somerset, Hampshire, and Northamptonshire. Could be a good game, couldn't it? Second bottom versus bottom at Northampton.
All to play for.
Blatherwick to Rees.
Oh.
He's pulled, he's top-edged it, but it's going to go down towards the boundary. He might get 6, he does. Heading down towards the media centre here. The pull shot from Rees, a big top edge. It looped high over the keeper. Down towards the boundary for 6. And Rees to 7. Derbyshire 16 without loss. The ball's been retrieved from somewhere beyond the boundary down below us.
First 6 of the match, I think. For what it's worth.
Yeah, it won't be a huge surprise to say that boundaries were scarce in the Lancashire innings. The top score was extras with 19. 4 fours for Bell, 3 for Ayer.
12 in total.
2 for Flintoff, 1 for Bohannon, 1 for Paulson, 1 for Green, and 1 for Barnard. Blatherwick in the balls. Another pull to the top edge, another 6.
I genuinely feel sorry here for Jack Blatherwick. It's just been the attempted pull, successive deliveries that have gone off the edge of the bat and flown.
They've got a mile, haven't they?
Absolutely flown for 6.
You haven't just trickled over the rope.
No,
they've gone a long way.
These have gone a long way, no matter where the fielders are. And when you're only defending 99, you probably don't need that. But they're going to keep 2 slips in. Chris Green's not moving anywhere. I'll just stand here. Now pushing a man back on the mid-wicket boundary, and then he decides that he's coming in. Then he stops halfway. Aspinwall is already out. And in fact, at the moment, they've got too many fielders outside the circle, so they're going to have to do something here. I'm not sure a no ball for too many fielders outside the circle would cheer anybody of a Lancastrian persuasion. They allowed 2 out of the CSR. There we go. The man down at third man is coming up to the edge of the circle, and Chris Green has gone in at mid-wicket. So I do him a disservice. Harry Singh is the solitary slip now.
Reese to 13, 22 without loss. Blatherwick bowls, and Reese turns out towards the leg side where Green fields. And there is no run.
Greenfields.
Hey. Without his green boots on, though.
I know. That's vaguely disappointing.
Must be a T20 then.
Yeah.
Unless she's not allowed to wear coloured boots in the One Day Cup. They've got strict rules. Metrobank have got strict rules that you must wear white boots.
Yeah. Seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
Well,
You can wear whatever colour clothing you like, but you must wear white boots. This is cricket after all.
to be fair, you have to wear blue, I think, in this one.
Well, yes, yeah.
Blatherwick in bowls. It's pulled away by Reese towards deep backward square leg where Barnard fields, and an extra run for Lewis Reese. So he moves on to 14. Harry Kames on 9. Derbyshire, 4 overs gone. 23 without loss. They are not batting first. It was not a 1 o'clock start. We are into the second innings. It's 4 overs gone. Lancashire 99 all out.
I was just pleased that the lunch was there, in all honesty.
I was surprised by it.
I was very surprised, but...
what were those little spicy...
No idea.
Right.
Never had one.
Have you not? Okay.
No, no.
They were all right. They're quite nice.
I think they were for the vegetarians.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I think no, you can have one. I don't think you have to be a vegetarian. But,
right.
I think they bring them out every match. So by the end of the competition, I'd steer clear. 5th over, Bailey in bowls to Reese, who pushes that one out into the offside. It's fielded by Williams, and there's no run. No, just the job on a hot day. A few sandwiches, a couple of bags of crisps.
Happy days.
That kind of thing. We don't ask for much.
No. Good.
Although the chips at Old Trafford are very good. Some of those during the T20. I think we had chips. Surprised if we didn't. Here's Bailey. In again and bowls to Reese, who cuts that away for 4, out towards the backward point boundary. Too short, too wide. Reese races on to 18 off 13 deliveries. It's 27. Without loss now, Derbyshire in the 5th over. They need a further 73 to win. Shot being replayed on the big screen, and quite right too. Good camera work as well by the boys over on the Players' Pavilion underneath the umbrella, shading themselves from the blistering heat on the left-hand side of the Players' Pavilion.
Can they hear us?
I don't think so.
Give us a wave.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they can. Bailey bowls, that's wide of the off-stump, and let go by Reese through to the keeper.
We used to commentate from over there, didn't we? I'm sure I've been here and commentated from over there in the past. I know we're in this little building here, but I'm pretty sure.
We used to be in a building that's now been knocked down when I first started. You've been on top of the cafe at
maybe
one
that's
point.
where I was thinking, on top of the cafe, yeah.
The written press were in the ground floor of that members' pavilion at one stage.
Right.
This opened towards the end of 2016, the end of my first season. And
I remember being above the cafe now.
yeah.
Or the bar,
we used to go in the cafe. Well, it was a proper cafe.
Okay.
Get a proper burger and chips in there for lunch. Little voucher. In you go.
Like it.
Yeah. Beautiful they were. But that's it's all alcohol now, I think. Here's Bailey around the wicket.
do it,
That one is defended straight back to the bowler. And there is no run. So 9-wicket win over Middlesex. Lewis Rees, the man out in that game. Harry Kane making an unbeaten 113. Lewis Rees making 88, and they actually put on 216 for the first wicket, which is the highest stand on this ground. As Bailey is in again, and that one is beaten. Rees angling it in towards him, so he's got to play, because he never knows. It might just be hitting the stumps, and he's played and missed at that one. 27 without loss it remains, with one ball of the fifth over to go. The cut-off time for the innings, so we will finish no later than 4:45. Normally, to give you an idea, that says sort of 6:30, 6:45 for one-day games. So we're already 2 hours better off. As Bailey is in, left alone by Rees, goes through to Bell, and it's the end of the over. 27 without loss after 5. Derbyshire going along at 5.5 and over or thereabouts. They need a further 1.6 and over from here on in. I do hope they don't go at that pace. Otherwise it would be one of the dullest games, even if it turns out to be a victory. They won't, I'm fairly certain. And so far, for Derbyshire, so good. It was a high-scoring game, that Middlesex-Northamptonshire game. It was at Radlett, wasn't it, on Monday night in Group A. And Middlesex made, Northamptonshire made 317 for 9. Middlesex 319 for 5 in 48 overs and 1 ball. A random game chucked in on a Monday night when nobody was expecting it.
It's quite difficult to keep across. I mean, the blast had some kind of structure-ish to it. It was over a weekend type thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than at bowls, let's edge down to third man where Aspinwall fields. A single for Harry Kane, moves on to 10-28 without loss.
Certainly, I don't think, and this is just off the top of my head, and I'm almost certainly going to be proved wrong, I don't think we ever played on a Monday, Tuesday or a Wednesday in the blast.
No, I don't think Lancashire did. I don't think many teams want to play on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, do they? Because they struggle to shift tickets, don't they?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play on the weekends. So you had these big gaps in between games, and then you had 2 or 3 on the spin.
But it is weird. Most football clubs probably wouldn't want to play on a Tuesday night, but they're told to, and off you go.
Blatherwick in. Let's get an extra bounce there as Lewis Rees is forced to defend, right up onto his toes, and just drops the ball safely away into the offside. No run.
The other thing, Lancashire should be bowled out for in 20 overs and having had lunch, is that timings for my head can't quite get around the top of the hour anymore. I just panic then. It's only 25 to. I may only have to do one.
Blatherwick. Let's see what Rees is pushed up towards mid-off where Bailey fields, and there's no run. Remains on 18-28 without loss.
Good to see Aspinwall. They just removed his carries. He's got quite the mullet going on there. That's excellent work from Tom Aspinwall. Down below us, it's a long leg. It's quite a shock of hair sticking out the back of his cap, actually. Well done him.
Blatherwick to Rees. That's defender just got back and across and then tucking the ball away towards mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Chris Green. And there is no run. Released by the Manchester Originals, Tom Aspinwall. Featured in their opening couple of games, so able to come back.
They've got some Test cricketers back now, haven't they, all the 100 sides?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
I fear for Nye Donald this evening, if I'm honest.
Blatherwick to Rees. Playing a miss. Through to Bell, and there's no run. It's going back, looking to try and cut it down to third man perhaps, but maybe that little extra bounce that Blatherwick can get. He's probably the sharpest of the Lancashire bowlers.
I say a fear for him. He's still going to get paid plenty of money, isn't he? But
It could be in his hot tub.
he could, yes. In which case, I don't fear for you now. The England wicketkeeper is back with Birmingham Phoenix tonight, I think.
He might get a gig then. Blatherwick to Rees, that's defended. There is no run. Blatherwick going low down to his right to field off his own bowling. And that is the end of the over. 28 without loss. Harry Kane on 10. Lewis Rees on 18. Target of 100, exactly 100 to win. We've had 6 overs.
You think ordinarily Lancashire would be quite pleased with this. Kept the scoring rate down. Those 2 sixes apart. Nobody's really played a shot in anger. A couple of 1-4 to each of these 2 openers, Harry Kane and Lewis Rees. 28 without loss, 72 to win. 44 overs in which to get them. And Bailey to continue from the racecourse end. 3 overs for 9 he's bowled so far. Harry Kane just slightly concerned that there was a bit of chat going on out there. They're actually moving the field still. Long leg is more like a deep backward square leg now down in front of the East Midlands demolition stand as in goes Bailey, and it's played off the back foot out into the offside where some keeping up is going on there from Chris Green. Good effort. 3 I think he managed before bailing out and kicking the ball into his right hand. Not sure what Venkatesh Iyer makes of all this, standing there at point on the edge of the circle. He'll be better for the run out. The run. Let's call it a run because he wasn't run out. It goes. Bailey strikes the pad of Harry Kane. Ball drops at his feet. He just walks casually back into his ground.
He played 2 lovely shots. And then...
well, he hit Harry Moore back pretty much straight, didn't he, for 2 deliveries. But...
then played a bit of a stinker.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
It's his first appearance, or first game since the IPL final on the 26th of May, where he got himself 50 for the Calcutta Knight Riders, 52 from 26 balls in the final as the Calcutta Knight Riders won that match.
Yeah, I remember it well.
8-wicket win by 57 balls remaining.
I was just going to say that.
In Chennai.
Was it? Another competition I have little interest in. Here is Bailey in a bowls and beats Harry Kane. Nice delivery.
In fact, he comes into this game on the back of 2 half-centuries in successive IPL matches, having also got 50 in the qualifier match against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. He got 58 from 24 balls, 5 4s and 4 6s, 58 not out in that win for the KKR, as they're also known.
Bailey balls to Harry Kane, pushed out into the offside. Yes, well, when it's the Trent Bridge Knight Riders against the Manchester Originals Mumbai Indians, I'm sure I'll take far more notice of it, but probably not. Which it well, I was going to say inevitably will be. I'm not so sure how inevitable that is anymore, since they're now hawking themselves around the NFL. So we could get the Trent Rockets Tampa Bay Rowdies or something. I don't know. Birmingham City's owners were at a game recently, weren't they? They're owned by what's it called? The bloke who chucks it. I can't remember his name. Of course, they're in League One next season, so that's good. Next delivery is short, pulled around the corner by Harry Kane out towards the square leg boundary. They go through for a comfortable single. Kane moves to 11, 29 without loss. Not Dan Marino, that was my era. What was he called?
I don't know.
The good one.
I don't know. I don't really know the sport.
No, I don't. Can't be doing with it. Just stop start all the time. You can't. It's almost unwatchable. Just as you think, oh, something's happening here, they all run off and some other load run on, and you can't see them anyway because they're all wearing hats, big shoulder pads, and
they look the part, don't they?
Well,
got all the gear.
Yeah, absolutely. Freeze turns this one into the leg side. He's going to pick up just a single as Aya comes in off the boundary to do the fielding. Rees moves to 19 and keeps the strike. Kame has 11. Derbyshire 30 without loss after 7 overs, needs 70 to win from 43.
Hampshire just kind of digging in at the end of their innings, but they're probably doing what Lancashire were unable to do, which is not hammer it about, but just stick in there and try and get some runs. It might not be enough, but they've managed to put on so far 70 for the last couple of wickets, having been 80 for 8.
Yeah, if you get something that...
So they're now 161 for 9.
If you get up above 160, yes, it doesn't sound enough and doesn't feel enough, but it gives your bowlers something, doesn't it?
Yeah, Kyle Abbott is 39 not out. Back end of that innings. So they've got 10 overs left. They're still 9 down, 161 for 9. So they've robbed a little bit of Hampshire. Another again, driven well by Lewis Rees. To the left of Bailey, who's at mid-off. It's nicely timed. Lovely looking shot. Just caressed it back down the ground. And gets himself 4 runs to start this 8th over. Moves on to 23. Derbyshire 34 with that loss.
Thank you to Joe. It's Tom Brady, who is one of the part owners of Birmingham City. He was one of the blokes who chucked the ball in American football. Chucked it quite well, to be fair, but chucked it nonetheless.
Blathwick over the wicket to Rees. Just nudged away through square leg for a single. Takes him to 24 not out. 35 with that loss.
Our listeners always have the answers.
They do. Yeah.
Always have the answers.
It's a good job someone does.
Yes, isn't it just? Yeah.
Harry Kane's back on strike. Jack Blatherwick bowling from the city end. Gorgeous day. Good crowd on, but they're going to enjoy a home win, but maybe not quite the
I've just seen a
dramatic game as
seen a couple arrive. They were thinking, well, we'll get up there. We'll get up there about 1:45. See the end of the Derbyshire, the first innings, and then the run chase.
Second slip in place. Blatherwick in, edged. Oh, great catch. Excellent catch by Harry Singh at second slip, who just moved into that position. Really good one-handed low catch to his left. And Harry Kame departs for 11. Derbyshire lose their first wicket, 35 for 1. Super reflexes by Harry Singh, low to his left-hand side, one-handed grab.
Yeah, good catch. Really good catch. And it's what Lancashire have to do. They sort of have to keep going. 20 deliveries for his 11. Harry Kame out in the halfway through the 8th over. It must be quite soul-destroying, though. You would have thought. But a century for Harry Kame on Saturday and 11 today. Welcome to cricket. Brooke Guest, with his black gloves, comes out to bat. I'm not entirely sure why he's got black gloves, but there we are. If I could get away with wearing white gloves and they're playing with a white ball, I think I'd wear white gloves, but he's wearing black ones, has done for all of the white ball competitions so far this season. Well, he doesn't usually bat as high as this in T20 cricket. He's a very steady cricketer who can hit the ball very hard if required. It isn't necessarily required in this game, but he's sort of regarded as a steady Eddie. He scores lots and lots of runs. Quite often gets into the 90s in all formats and gets himself out somehow. But not regarded, I don't think, as that dynamic T20 top of the order kind of bat. But more than useful. Now, 2 former Lancashire players out in the middle. I think Guest came back from Australia and went to Lancashire for a bit, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, played a bit, a couple of games, I think. Well, for like I said, play a bit, but I think he certainly played a couple of games for Lancashire.
Yeah. Neither has a particularly strong Lancashire accent. I think it's fair to say.
In fact, his List A debut was for Lancashire, and his Championship debut was for Lancashire.
Thought so.
Back in 2019, his List A debut, and his Championship debut in 2018. Here's Blatherwick to Brooke Guest. That's fizzing on past the edge of the bat and into the gloves of the keeper, and there's no run.
Well, he sort of arrived here on loan, I think, probably towards the end of that season. As competition for Harvey Hussain, but unfortunately Harvey forced to retire soon after due to too many concussions. Sort of leant too far over when he was batting and headed the ball a lot. It's inadvisable.
Blatherwick to Guest. Again, that beats him. Through to Bell, no run.
So they bowled pretty well, haven't they? I mean, let's be fair. 12 of the 35 runs have come off top edges down to below us for 6. The rest of the time, they bowled. Well, they bowled pretty well in that for those 2 deliveries as well, but they have bowled pretty well. The Lancashire opening bowlers, but they ain't got enough runs to bowl at, really.
There's 2 slips in the gully. Final ball of the over. Jack Blatherwick into Brooke Guest. Edged in between second slip and that gully fielder down towards the boundary. And 4 runs for Brooke Guest to take Derbyshire to within 60 of victory. 39 for 1 at the end of the 8th over. Just looking at his debut in List A cricket for Brooke Guest. I mentioned it came for Lancashire in 2019 in the team that included Jimmy Anderson, actually.
Oh.
Lancashire's side, Keaton Jennings, Hasib Hamid, Brooke Guest batted at 3 and got 36. Glenn Maxwell, Rob Jones, Dane Velash, Josh Bohannon, Stephen Croft, Saqib Mahmood, James Anderson and Matt Parkinson in the team where Brooke Guest made his debut. Yeah.
That's not a bad side. Take that.
They lost by 125 runs.
Of course they did. 39 for 1 Derbyshire. I told you it was a good side. As Bailey bowls and he's turned into the leg side by Lewis Rees. How on earth did that side? Who were they playing?
Worcestershire.
Good grief.
Yeah. Worcestershire made 367 with Hamish Rutherford and Darryl Mitchell scoring centuries.
Yeah.
And Lancashire were bowled out for 242.
Hamish Rutherford, another former Derbyshire man. He was here in first or second season I was here. Barely spoke to him. He didn't appear to be massively communicative, to be honest, but I'm sure he's a thoroughly nice bloke. Here is Bailey around the wicket, bowling to Rees, who edges that one down to a very fine third man and beats the fielder down at wide, third man to the boundary and picks up another 4, moves to 28, 43 for 1. Let's get rid of that slip now, it's not doing any good. They can't really do much more than the fielders that they have out there outside the circle, down at third man and at the backward square leg, because we're still in the first phase of the game where they can only have 2 outside the circle, so you might as well leave the slip in, actually. That's probably what the captain was thinking. As Bailey is in again and bowls to Rees, goes back and pushes this one up to towards mid-off, where it's fielded by Tom Aspinwall. There's no run. Sam Connors and Zach Chappell on a lap of the ground with somebody else who looks sort of Pat Brown shaped, but I'm not sure it probably is Pat, actually. I should have had a look. When he was walking past us down below. The other 2 are fairly easy to spot, one with a mullet and one with no hair at all. I'll have another look in a minute as this next one is pulled into the leg side by Lewis Rees for 4 runs. Just in front of square, on it really quickly, Lewis Rees. Nice shot from him. He moves to 32, 47 for 1 with 2 balls of the 9th over still to be bowled. 53 to win.
Hampshire have been bowled out for 168 in Canterbury. So Kent set 169 to win. Remember, Derbyshire going top of the group with 3 wins from 3 if they go and get 52 more runs.
No idea how to write that. This one is off a leading edge. He was looking to play it into the leg side. It ended up with Aspinwall's feet at mid-off. It went along the ground, but a false shot from Lewis Rees. Yeah, that'll be really weird writing. Derbyshire top of the table. I'm now 98% certain it's Pat Brown.
98?
Yeah, well, it's sort of...
Not quite 99, not 97.
No, I don't want to go too far.
Fair enough.
That one is flicked around the corner down towards short fine leg. There is a short fine leg, so no run for Rees off the final ball of the over. He's got 32 from 31 deliveries. Brooke Guest 4 from 3. Derbyshire 47 for 1 after 9. Need 53 more runs to win, and as Scott said, make it 3 out of 3, and sit atop the Group A table. Oh, I'm not sure now.
Oh dear, 98 to what? 87%?
It's almost 50-50
Oh
now.
dear, oh dear. You went too early with that one.
I certainly did.
Meanwhile, Blatherwick is going to start
No idea who it is.
the 10th over of the innings. 2 slips in the gully still, and Brooke Guest on strike. Blatherwick for Lancashire in and bowls to Guest, who plays off the front foot in defence. Deflects up towards mid-on, and there's no run.
Nick Potts' name's been chucked into the mix. I'm not sure it's Nick. If he took that hat off, I'll be able to tell, I think. No, I don't think it's Nick Potts. Yeah, now we've got a Could Be Brown from next door. You see, I'm not a million miles away. Absolutely, it could be Brown. I'm not sure that it is, but it could be.
Blatherwick in, bowls to Guest. That's chucked away through the offside, and Bohannon from mid-off away to his left field. Guest through for a single. Moves on to 5, 48 for 1.
In all honesty, it could be anybody. And it doesn't really matter who it is. I just thought I'd try and identify them, and I wish I hadn't bothered now.
Well, once you start on that path, you've got to see it through, haven't you? Really?
But the other two were so easy. A mullet and a bald bloke. It's Sam Connors and Zach Chapman. You do that with your eyes shut. Unfortunately, the third member of the team walking around, I have no idea.
Blatherwick balls to Lewis Rees. Clipped away off his pads out towards deep square leg, where Charlie Barnard fields the gloves of George Bell, the keeper. Rees gets through for a single, and Derbyshire are almost at 50 on the board. 49 for 1. Rees on 33 brings Guest back on strike. 5 not out. Short cover. Backward point, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, 2 slips, the gully as well. Blatherwick bowls and Guest drives. Fielded by Bailey at mid-on, and there's no run.
You mentioned in the nearly at 50, Lancashire got to their 50 on the final ball of the 11th over. They were 54 for 3 to 99 all out, which is
Yeah.
not ideal.
Well, no, that's one way to put it.
Be a good post-match interview, though.
Cheers. Blatherwick to Brooke Guest. That's flashed away through the covers. And 4 runs for Guest, and over halfway there. Derbyshire now 53 for 1, requiring 46 more to win. When you put it like that, because these things do happen so quickly, don't they, in the game.
Well, I hadn't realised it had been that.
You think 53 for 3 after 11.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, well, that's not.
Well, no, yeah, 11 and a half overs. They lost the 4th wicket, didn't they? So, yeah, 53 for 3 in the 12th over. It's all right.
Not ideal, but it's all right.
Yeah, you can build on that,
Yeah.
can't you? You get up to 200.
From that point to 100, or 99 all out, 8 overs later.
Yeah.
That'd be one just to chalk off and not dwell on, perhaps.
I think so.
Draw a line under it, that type of thing. Blatherwick in bowls, and Brooke Guest works his ball to the leg side this time. Clipped away off his toes towards backward square leg, and he's back for a couple. Moves into double figures with that. Moves on to 11. 55 for 1, 10 overs gone. Need 44 more runs to win.
In the danger zone here, Derbyshire. 55 after 10 overs. Got to be careful. Chris Green's warming up though, so you never know. I think we've got a change in bowling here. We have got a change in bowling. George Balderson coming on to bowl from the racecourse end. There you go. Confirmation. So this 2 o'clock update could be my last update today. That's quite remarkable. Just the one timed update, just how we like it. Unless it takes them another hour to get to the remaining 45 runs, of course, but Somehow doubt it. Reese on strike. There's a half century in it for him. He's on 33. Balderson bowls to him, strikes the pad. Big appeal for leg before wicket. Not out, says the umpire. Not height. Certainly, we're not in line, so we've got absolutely no idea. But looked a decent shout from here. Perhaps struck him outside the line, angling in. Baldy starts well. It's not a great nickname, that is. You take it from me. Baldy's not a great nickname. Here he is. Oh, he's ready to bowl to Reese, who drives a full delivery out into the offside. Oh, a magnificent, well, initially a magnificent piece of fielding by Tom Bailey with his right foot. We'd love to see that. Instead of bending down and picking it up, Bailey thought, I'll go with my right foot. Kicked it beyond his teammate and then had to chase after it. Kept them down to a six. I do like to see a fielder. I'd like to see a bowler fielding with his feet. That's a proper old school. As somebody who has seen Ravi Rampal for a number of seasons here, I don't think touched the ball in the outfield with his hands. Stopped it with his feet and kicked it back in. Balderson bowls to Brooke Guest, who guides this very nicely out towards the straight mid-wicket boundary, and it has gone for four. A despairing dive by Aspinwall. Fails to keep the ball in play. And Derbyshire move on to 60 for one now. They only need a further 40 runs. Update not too far away for BBC Radio Derby's FM listeners, as Balderson is in and bowls, and Guest has played this ball to exactly the same place and picked up back-to-back boundaries to move on to 19 off just 10 deliveries. Derbyshire 64 for one. They need a further 36 to win. Such a lot has happened today. $64 for one then. Balderson on his way in, bowls to Guest, who pushes this out into the offside. No run on this occasion. But at this stage, Lancashire were just 3 down. Lost a lot of wickets in the 60s, 3 of them, 2 in the 50s, 3 in the 60s. This next delivery is played straight back to Balderson, and there is no run. And it's the end of the over. Derbyshire 64 for one, 36 to win, 19 to Brooke Guest, 34 to Lewis Reese at a run of ball. Guest's 19 coming off at 12 deliveries. The partnership were 29 off 21. The man out, Harry Kame, who was dismissed for 11. Here's the update. Yeah, something will have gone wrong if they don't, because chasing 100 to win after bowling Lancashire out for 99 in just 20 overs. They're 64 for one after 11. Harry came out for 11. Brooke Guest has 19. Lewis Reese has 34. Earlier on today, Pat Brown with career best figures of 5 for 37 helped dismiss Lancashire for 99. Derbyshire going nicely. 64 for one after 11. I believe that will be my last update, I would imagine. Chris Green's coming on to bowl from the City end. Bit of spin. Lewis with his first spin we've seen in the match, in actual fact. Didn't see any spin in the Derbyshire innings. Sami Patel not required to bring himself on. Just the 4 bowlers used. Green is in. That one is guided down to short third man by Lewis Reese off an outside edge where it's fielded by George Balderson, and there's no run. Green at the top of his mark in his white boots. Bowls around the wicket to Rees, who pushes this one out into the offside. Green feels off his own bowling. And then walks slightly less purposefully than he might do to his mark. Got a slip in place. He's in now and bowls, and Rees cuts and will pick up a single out towards the cover boundary. 65 for 1. First spin we've seen, Scott. We didn't see any spin in the first innings.
No, it wasn't needed, was it?
Samit didn't need to bring himself on and bowl 10 overs for 30, which is what he normally does. Over the wicket green now to the right-handed Brooke Guest. He's bowling a full delivery that's clipped up towards long on. That looks like Iyer in the distance. And they go through for another single.
Yeah, just the 4 bowlers required for Derbyshire. Zach Chappell, 2 for 19. Sam Connors, 1 for 19. Pat Brown, 5 for 37. Harry Moore, 2 for 23.
And he's in again, is Green, turning to the leg side. There is no run. The good thing about that is ahead of Friday. With 2 days, I know the 2 home games, but 2 days to recover. If your bowlers have bowled, well, a maximum of 6 overs in Pat Brown's case and just 4 in the case of Sam Connors, they'll be fresh and ready to go should they be required in 48 hours' time. A sweep shot attempted by Lewis Rees as an appeal from Chris Green. Umpire heartily unimpressed, and the over comes to an end. Just a couple of runs from it. 66 for 1 after 12. Guest has 20. Rees has 35. Derbyshire need 34 more runs for victory. Successive big wins might just add a few onto the crowd on Friday. You never know. People like to see a team doing well.
Is it a day-nighter or just a
No,
day?
just a day. Yeah, we don't play any day-nighters, I'm delighted to say.
It's Pollison's in, and that's defended.
Do you play any of those?
Yeah, the game on Friday at Taunton's a day-nighter.
Oh, dear.
Which I...
A bit rowdy there by the end, I would have thought.
It will be, won't it?
Yeah, it usually gets a bit rowdy there. It's quite rowdy.
It's quite a good atmosphere, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite decent.
Yeah. Well, Derbyshire played that T20 quarter-final down there, which didn't go well.
Here comes Bollison in short and pulled out towards backwards square leg.
Oh,
It's gone for 4. There's 2 after it. And it's managed to somehow get underneath or in between them both. I think it was Blatherwick coming from fine leg and Aspinwall from mid-wicket. And that takes it to within 30 of victory.
wasn't great, was it? That wasn't great.
Kind of did all the hard work there. Kind of went up the ground and got to it. And somehow underneath his body. Pinched him in on for no run. So Derbyshire were done at Somerset in the quarter-final, were they, in the T20?
Oh, were they?
Lancashire got done there a year or 2 back as well. In the quarter-final.
Biggest defeat. Most runs off a 4-over spell.
Oh,
Bless
my
him, Matty
goodness.
McKinnon went
right,
for about
okay.
85 or 86 in 4 overs. Oh, it was
Yeah,
horrific. Horrific. Fish and chips were nice, though.
Balderson, and that's Guest trying to whip it away to the leg side, no run. Was that Derbyshire's first knockout game for a bit as well? Am I right in thinking that? Or?
It was the first under Mickey Arthur, certainly,
okay.
in his first season, I think.
Right.
In my time, they've got to 3 quarterfinals since 2016, so
Okay.
it is not bad. Lost at home to Hampshire, well, thumped at home by Hampshire, won at Gloucestershire and lost at Somerset.
Balderson to Guest, front foot with the keeper behind him, playing and missing through to Bell, no run.
This was as big a disappointment as any, really, not getting out of the group stages with the team that Mickey Arthur had assembled. With Pat Brown and Aaron Donald and Ross Whiteley, Samit Patel. And just as they did last season, actually, at home in the final game against Worcestershire, they completely froze.
Balderson into Brooke
Drop.
Guest, yeah. Through to Bell. Donaldson went up appealing. Sound of the bat. Fumble by Bell. Chance goes down. Derbyshire still within 29 now runs of victory at 70 for 1. Guest has 24. Rees on 35.
Yeah, it won't make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. I don't think that drop catch, but Balderson's reasonably sharp. So for George Bell standing up, it's not easy, in fairness to him. Chris Green, just 2 runs conceded off his first over, bowling to Lewis Rees, who's on 35 from 39 deliveries, 32 in at 70 for 1 at Derbyshire. And here comes Chris Green. Around the wicket, bowling to Lewis Rees, who drives. I was looking up at mid-off for that one, and it's gone up to mid-on. And they go through for a comfortable single as the ball is fielded by Tom Bailey. 71 for 1. Good for the net run rate as well.
Just a bit, yeah.
A win like this. He's in and bowls. That one is pushed out into the offside once again. They're going to go through for a quick single. Bailey picks up and shies at the stumps, but throws it to the striker's end. Lewis Rees was probably home. The ball a little bit wide of the stumps. So Guest picks up another single, moves to 25, 72 for 1. And in comes Green again and balls. This one is spinning past the edge of Lewis Rees's bat and into the arms, or the hands, of George Bell. Whips off the bails. Rees hadn't moved his back foot out of the crease. Interesting that this pitch is turning. I wonder if they'll use the same one up for a third match on Friday. This is an attempt to sweep. Big appeal for leg before wicket. Green is convinced. But Hartley isn't.
No, it's not.
And it's not out. But Green is down on one knee at the moment. In fact, he's still down on one knee. He finally gets back to his feet. Now he's got the double teapot on. And umpire Hartley looks across to umpire Ashraf and says 2 to go in the over. And says no more. The situation, he's saying it's going down leg side, I think, and Chris Green is having another look. I'd just get on with it, Chris, if I were you. Nobody likes to see an overseas getting suspended. Still got his hands on his hips. Now he's ready to bowl. I say getting ready. Here he is. He's in and bowls to Rees, who turns that off something into the leg side. And there is no release. Look at his hands on his. He's not a happy man, Chris Green, at the moment. Not happy at all. Earlier on, he made 4 before Harry Moore bowled him. That won't have improved his mood any. And that rejection of the leg before wicket appeal certainly hasn't either. Here he is to complete his second over. Bowls to Rees, who turns that one up towards mid-on, where Bailey waits. It's the end of the over. 14 gone. 72 for 1. Guest has 25. Rees has 36. Derbyshire need 28 to win off 36 overs. Those one-sided white ball games, they are not great. He's still talking to umpire Hartley now. I think it's all pretty friendly there, though. Umpire Hartley may well have had a word or two with umpires himself during his playing career at Yorkshire. I'd be surprised if he didn't. He's a feisty character, I think it's fair to say, Peter Hartley.
Balderson to Brooke Guest, who defends, and there's no run.
I'm going to look it up because I don't absolutely know the answer. This was Peter Hartley born in Todmorden. I remember a cricketer, and it was around that era. Because of course Todmorden switches from...
He does, yeah.
Been in Lancashire into Yorkshire and back again.
It's a nice shot by Guest. Punched away through the covers. Comes back for 2.
Keithley, I know what I'm talking about. Was somebody born in Todmorden?
What, an umpire?
No, an either a Yorkshire or a Lancashire player, and
Okay,
Because
right.
Todmorden on occasion switches from, or did do, switches from being in Yorkshire to being in Lancashire.
I don't know where it is now. Is it? In...
No, I'm not sure.
I don't...
I know where it is,
Well, yeah.
but I don't know where it
Don't know
where
where-
it is now.
It's Balderson. Loops away out towards the onside. And, there's half an appeal again. There's no run.
I didn't realise he started his career at Warwickshire, despite being born in Keighley, before going on to play for Yorkshire for 12 seasons, and then finished off at Hampshire. His first game for Warwickshire was in first-class cricket was against Lancashire, and his last game in List A cricket for Hampshire was against Derbyshire. It's funny how these things happen.
Balderson to Brooke Guest. That's punched down the ground, and there's no run.
But not that funny, obviously. 232 first-class matches, which is a fair few. 683 first-class wickets, Peter Hartley, at 30. That's good going. 356 List A thrown on top.
Guest again leads into this next delivery from Balderson and defends to cover, no run. 25 more required for Derbyshire to win the game. At 74 for 1.
There's a sentence you never tire of reading out as well. It played in the final when Yorkshire won the 1987 Benson Hedges Cup, a rare triumph for the county in those years.
Balderson to Brooke Guest. That's worked off his hip down towards fine leg for a single. And I think that's the end of the over. It is. Guest keeps the strike. He's on 28, 75 for 1, 24 needed.
Yes. He's the yes. His highest first-class score for Yorkshire came in a Roses match in 1988. He made 127 not out. Yorkshire made 224. He came in at number 8 when the score was 37 for 6. Just imagine Granada TV in those days when they used to show like half-hour chunks of Roses matches, rather bizarrely, or even Yorkshire Television who did pretty much the same thing. So we've got to leave now because Crossroads is on. 75 for 1 Derbyshire, 25 to win. Green to bowl his third over, 2 overs for 4 runs so far, and 1 very loud appeal for leg before wicket. He's driven, he gets a hand to that one, does Green, but Brooke Guest will pick up a single, move to 29. Derbyshire to 76 for 1. Lewis Rees is in danger of missing out on a half century here, I would say, if he's not careful, if indeed that's on his mind. Harry Kane was delighted when I spoke to him on Saturday after getting his century against Middlesex, his first in List A cricket.
Nice.
Batted beautifully. Chanceless innings. As Green is in around the wicket, bowls to Rees, who pushes that one backward of square on the offside. And there is no run. Keep getting those. I've got another one there. Recommendations from a well-known company that mail out things to your house that begins with Amma and ends in Zon. This one makes sense as Green bowls, because I am in the market for a laptop. And that one is pushed out into the offside by Lewis Rees, and there's no run. I got one the other week that said, we thought you might like this, we recommend, and it was a pink Dolly Parton cowboy hat. I'm not entirely sure what I've been talking about or looking up on the internet prior to that. Oh, he's launched this one down the ground as Lewis Rees for a 1 bounce 4 out towards long off. He's had enough. He moves on to 40 and Derbyshire to 80 for 1 with 20 required to win.
What a wonderful image I've got, Fletcher, of you with your pink Dolly Parton
You're
hat
welcome.
on.
You are
Brilliant.
absolutely welcome, Scott.
That is lovely. If you do get one, do send a picture to me. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I don't really know why it was recommended, but they've started recommending me clothes. They've obviously seen how I dress. Because you might want to look smarter, is the recommendation. 80 for 1. Green. Bowling from the city end here at the county ground in Derby. Bowls to Lewis Rees, who goes back and just plays it gently to backward point. And there is no run. It is weird, isn't it, what the internet does to you? The phones are definitely listening, though. There's any doubt about that. And comes Green again, bowls, and Reese has driven that one and missed it, actually. He played a big, expansive looking shot. Green stands at the end of his very short follow through with both hands on hips. Wicketkeeper took the ball nicely, George Bell, but there had been no touch. And the over comes to an end, so 16 gone, just 34 to go. Derbyshire need 20 runs. They're 80 for 1. Guest has 29. And Reese has 40. And we're going to see the man who doesn't bowl. Aren't we?
Well, that's,
What did you say? What were the exact
I'm not
goal?
sure how much he is going to bowl.
Well,
But,
here he comes.
He's going to have a go.
Come on, winners the game.
Let's have a look. What did he bowl in the IPL? So, let's have a look.
Oh, I think he did. I'm sure I remember seeing him bowl in the IPL.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't think he had. Now I come to think of it.
Not required in the T20.
Well, he wouldn't be. He was playing for a very good... Did he play for it again?
The Rajasthan Royals.
That's it. Very good side. Winners of the competition, of course.
You are correct.
Well, you told me that before.
All right.
I wouldn't have known. I've heard of them. All he needs is a ball. Brilliant. The umpire had the ball in his pocket at Naeem Ashraf, because there's a ball at each end, of course, and he had the ball in his pocket, and everybody's ready, and they just think, well, where's the ball?
Well, he's got it in his hand now, and he's in a ball, and that's worked out towards wide mid-on for 1 run. By Brooke Guest, he moves on to 30, 81 for 1.
He's tall enough to be a quick bowler, isn't he? He's a tall chap. That gold chain might be slowing him down a touch, but it's not as big as some you see, but it's big enough if I can see it from here.
It's a list A record. He has bowled, well, he has taken 23 wickets
At
37 around the wicket. Bowls, that's flicked out towards the leg side for a single.
There's a distinct advantage here of no Derbyshire player will ever have faced him, I would have thought. Even on a machine, I don't think they'd have been expecting him necessarily to bowl. The elements of surprise, like the Spanish Inquisition.
17 needed for Derbyshire, 82 for 1 in the 17th over. In the bowls.
Oh,
it's
he
edged
should have had a wicket there.
Past first slip, down to the boundary. It's gone for 4. It went to the left of first slip, so it's in between first slip and the keeper. And
It's the keeper's catch, probably. There's not much point in having a slip if he's not going to catch them. It was low. I mean, it was a low, chance. It was a tough chance, but we've already seen one blinding catch.
50 partnership, though. What's needed now? 13. Venkatesh Iyer in bowls. Is appearing for an LBW here as Brooke Guest gets on the front foot to defend. The ball deflects down towards the slips and there's no run.
Yeah, no, they're having a go at you next door.
What are they saying?
Yeah, it's 14 to
It says 30.
No,
Oh, sorry. 14
no, it's because the scoreboard's stupid.
Sorry, 14 to win.
Has he hurt his ankle here? Aye, he's hurt something and he's shaking his head. I don't think he's going to finish the over that he's started. He's hurt his left ankle / knee. He's going to soldier on, bless him. But the last thing you want is it was the next overseas then. Scott, there must be another one somewhere.
There's one always round the corner somewhere.
There must be one. There must be somebody playing in the Lancashire leagues who can step up.
It's defender back to Venkatesh if he's on bowling, and there's no run.
I think this might be his only over.
I think it's probably likely.
And not because it's been particularly poor, but just
No.
because well, he's claiming he slipped in the footmark. They're all having a look now. Look, oh, it's the footmarks. It's his front foot. Nobody in the ground staff looks particularly keen on coming out and doing anything about it, and nobody else. No, I didn't by the Dolly Parton hat, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. And Nick Buxton's been on. Good to hear from Nick. I'm sorry, he says, but this is all wrong. We have absolutely no idea how to process winning games easily. Take us back to being cannon fodder. We're far more comfortable with it.
Driven to
Stop.
cover where Bailey fields, and there's no run. End of the over. It is 14 to win. Derbyshire trail by 13. 86-4.
Thank you for your message, Nick. Always good to know that there's people out there listening. He might not be listening. He might just have sent me a message. I don't know, but I'm fairly sure Nick listens. I know of 2 people who are listening, so that makes it all worthwhile. As long as there are at least as many people listening as there are in the commentary box, I'm happy with that. And,
That's a win.
I know of 2 people who are listening, so it's been another successful day. Chris Green to bowl his 4th over, 3 overs for 9 at the moment. Lewis Rees 9 away from a half century and 14 required to win. The first ball is pushed straight back to Chris Green. And there is no run. So innings elsewhere coming towards a close if they haven't already finished. Somerset made 241 for 9 against Durham at Chesterless Street as Green bowls to Rees, who cuts this out towards the cover boundary for a single and moves to 42, 87 for 113 to win. I'm sure, as you heard, were bowled out. I think we heard, I'm not sure, but they were bowled out for 168. Kent have just started their reply. The first over they faced was a maiden, so they've got 49 overs to get 168 now. As Green bowls, and that one is an expansive-looking drive by Brooke Guest. There's a shy at the stumps by Bailey that kind of missed by much, but it did miss, and they get through for a single. Guest moves to 35, 88 for 1. So you're up to date with what's happening in this group. Elsewhere in the in Scott's favourite group, Group B.
Yeah, it's a good group, is it?
Essex are approaching the end of their 50 overs as Green bowls to Rees, who pushes this one out into the leg side. There's no run. Essex 276 for 9. They've got 9 deliveries left. There, Nottinghamshire have got 3 deliveries left, and they're 271 for 9 against Glamorgan down at Neath. As Green, I made this mistake before. He looks like he's ready, then takes forever to set off. He's in now and bowls. Rees pushes this up towards mid-on. They decide against going for a single. 88 for 1 it remains, and Yorkshire have been bowled out for 261 with 2 balls of their 50 overs left by Sussex at York. And don't forget, Green bowls left alone by Rees outside the off stump to go through to the keeper. When we're finished, you can go and listen to any of those other games on the BBC Sport website and app, should you so wish. There is some cricket apparently on Sports Extra as well. 88 for 1 at the end of the over. Derbyshire need 12 to win. It's all about knowing the game and reading the game. Venkatesh Iyer is going to bowl a second over. I didn't think we'd see him again after he looked like he'd pulled up lame in the previous over. And they're still stop scratching at the pitch. We might want to use this again next week. Goodness sake. So Josh Bohannon's having a little scratch at it there. Might come from Bolton, but you shouldn't be doing that.
There's Venkatesh Iyer in balls. It's short and pulled away towards deep backward square leg where Aspinwall fields. And there is 1 run.
So 11 to win. Rees needs 8 for his half century. We're going to bring a bit of jeopardy into the game here. I've got to bring a bit of jeopardy in somehow. And that's as good as I can find.
That's good enough.
Although Brooke Guest, the 50's not out of the question for him. He'd have to hit the last ball for 6 probably, but
around the wicket this time. Defended away into the offside, and there is no run.
No, we've got 3. We've got 3 listeners. In fact, we've got 4. But they're pouring in now, these messages. Stuart in Chesterfield, always listening, he says, in capital letters. Thank you, Stuart. Terry Whiteley says, I'm watching and listening.
Oh dear.
It's just remarkable. The spread of listeners and viewers is incredible.
Around the wicket, Rees coming at Venkatesh to swap the ball away. Deflects that into the offside, no run. $11 to win.
I need to go into the 3 o'clock news and make sure that I'm not in it. Oh, I am in it. That's disappointing.
Balls again, clipped out towards the leg side where Harry Singh fields. And there is no run. 42 not out to Lewis Rees. Brooke Guest on 36.
I'd be fairly certain that in Sports in the 6 later you'll be able to hear from Pat Brown. I'd be surprised if it was anybody else. That message specifically for Stephen and Henry from the media team. Wheeling out somebody who hasn't done anything.
Venkatesh in, balls.
Oh.
Rees lofts the ball high out towards deep backward, square leg all the way for 6. And he's in with a chance here of getting to 50 and seeing his team over the winning line, because they now need 5 more runs to win Derbyshire, and Lewis Rees is 2 away from 50.
He didn't seem to put an awful lot into that, did he? Went a long way up, but it also had the distance to reach the car park. A gentleman in a pink shirt and burgundy shorts was momentarily in a spot of bother. It doesn't look sprightly. A direct hit might have done for him.
Almost went to the ice cream van, didn't they? Not much for Q there today.
I think they realised how much time they've got later on to go and have an ice cream. You don't really miss 3 balls and miss the winning runs.
40 win, 2 for 50. Pulled away. Out towards deep mid wicket. And come back for 2, Lewis Rees, and that is his 50. 50 off 60 balls. And Derbyshire now 3 away from victory, but nicely battered Lewis Rees. He's calmly steered his side to victory here with the bat.
5 4s and 3 6s for Lewis Rees. One of them brilliant, 2 of them slightly fortuitous, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, Derbyshire on the brink. 3 to win. And well, Chris Green's been miserly. He's only conceded 11 runs off his 4 overs so far. Still only 231. The cut-off for the first innings, I distinctly remember saying it moved to 236 at one point when Rocky Flintoff was having his helmet sorted out. So the entire match will be finished in the time it should have taken 1 innings to take place, and we've had a half-hour break. Wow. Green then bowling to Brooke Guest on 36. He bowls and Guest tries to turn this into the leg side. The only appeal there came from Chris Green, who's going to annoy Peter Hartley at some point soon. Go on, lad.
Crack on.
In that Keithley accent of his, just outside Todmorden. It's not far from Todd, actually, Keithley. As Green bowls, that one is turned into the leg side for a single by Brooke Guest. And the scores are not level. They need 2 to win. I got it the wrong way round there. Derbyshire still trail by 1. Up steps Josh Bohannon, whose first game this season as captain of the One Day Cup side hasn't quite gone as well as he might have hoped. I assume Lancashire are going down today as well, are they, the team?
Yeah, they're staying down, yeah.
So they're at the start of a road trip. You don't really want to be thrashed. But they might be.
They have been.
Green in, bowls to Rees, who defends this one out into the offside, and there's no run. I don't really know how to cope, as you can probably tell. The last time Derbyshire won 3 games in a row, 1990s? I don't know. No, it probably wasn't. But I'm sure it's a stat that David Griffin can give me later. In comes Green, pushed out into the offside by Lewis Rees. And there is no run. They're in danger of not winning the game in this over here. 2 balls left. Mark Crossland's listening as well. Thank you, Mark. Here comes Green in and bowls. That one is turned, tickled away down a fine leg. They're going to run the first one quickly. They might come back for the second to win the game, and they do. And Lewis Rees hits the winning runs as Derbyshire win this game by 9 wickets, finishing on 100 for 1. Remarkable victory, really, in 20 overs. So in the time that Lancashire were bowled out for 99, Derbyshire have completed their 3rd victory of the competition this season in the same number of overs. For the loss of 1 wicket, they win by 9 wickets. Harry Kane missed out, but Lewis Rees made 52. Brooke Guest made 37. And they move on to Worcestershire at home on Friday as Lancashire move to the southwest. Wow.
Yeah, congratulations to Derbyshire. That's a brutal performance. Brilliant with the ball. Pat Brown, I'm sure, will take the headlines. 5 for 37, but all 4 of them contributed. Chappell 2 for 19, Connors 1 for 19, Harry Moore 2 for 23. The least said about Lancashire's batting lineup, really the better. There's a couple of really poor shots in there, and Bell's 18, Venkatesh Iyer making 15, but when your top scorer is extras on 19, you're probably best just to leave it there, really. Dismal day for Lancashire, but a brilliant one for Derbyshire.
Been lovely to see you, Scott. Enjoy the rest of your remarkable road trip. We'll be following in your footsteps over the next few days as both teams play away at Taunton and at Southampton. And for Derbyshire, though, 3 wins out of 3 to begin the one-day cup. They couldn't, could they?
Why not? Why not? Why not?
We'll see you on Friday.